This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
You all ready for this? Dun 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 dun.
This is a sham.
No.
Nope.
Y'all, just stop.
Welcome to DBL, everyone. It's Thursday, December 2nd. I'm Tori. I'm here with Erica and Al. It's good to be back with all of you. Thank you. I got to visit my family and smell the onions and the garlic of good home cooking.
Yeah,
so it was really
Mom,
nice.
everybody's good, sis?
Everybody's good, and it was lovely to hug them in person. So it was nice. Very, very nice. Everybody had
And
good
you
things.
were, because Hanukkah and Thanksgiving
Are together.
Yeah.
So it was like a little bit of latkes and a lot of bit of turkey.
I love it.
A lot of food. So now I'm 8,000 pounds. All right, let's start with Alec Baldwin. He's speaking out about the shooting on the set of his movie Rust that killed cinematographer Helena Hudgens. So Alec is now claiming he did not pull the trigger, contradicting witness statements and what Baldwin originally told officers. So take a look.
Well, the trigger wasn't pulled. I didn't pull the trigger.
So you never pulled the trigger?
No. I would never point a gun at anyone and pull a trigger at them, never. Someone put a live bullet in a gun, a bullet that wasn't even supposed to be on the property.
Okay, we all know publicists and what they do, and they set up these interviews. Are we believing this person? The detectives are saying Baldwin told them at the time he pulled the trigger. Now we're doing a little bit of a reverse on that. Anybody believing it? Are we okay with that? What do you think?
You know, I think what's tricky about this case and this story is I don't believe that anyone believes that he tried to kill Helena.
Right.
You know, I don't believe that's the overall, even people who are like conspiracy theorying everything, I don't believe that intention was there.
Yeah, I agree.
In terms of what he said in the moment, in the very beginning, and what he's saying now, I wouldn't be shocked if there were disparities there. I mean, if you've ever gone through a traumatic situation, there's a lot of misunderstanding and second guessing and stuff. So I don't know if he's correct now or if he was correct then, but it wouldn't surprise me if there's some disparities in the statement.
So save some space for some mistakes or thoughts.
For being in a state of total shock is what I would say. I mean, this is, you know, as you were talking, Erica, I looked and we have bottles of water underneath us, and I was thinking, I'm sober. And if I said, Erica, hand me some water, and she did, and I took a sip of it, and it was vodka, is Erica at fault for making me, like, breaking my sobriety, or why was the vodka here underneath the desk? I think you should question how it got there. Who inserted a bullet? Before we talk about anybody that pulled it, even if it wasn't Alec Baldwin, if it was just a stagehand that gave it to another one and it went off, where did this come from? How did this happen? Like, where did that bullet come from? I think is the first question. Whoever happened to have it last, I think because there is celebrity attached to that name is what's interesting to us. But, like, how did it get there is my question.
Yeah, I looked into that, and it turns out that the bullets were bought many different places, and someone named Seth Kenny might have allegedly given live rounds with dummy rounds. And when one of the people went to shake the box, they could hear some didn't rattle. And when they don't rattle, that's an indication that's a live round. So that clearly needs to be answered. I do have a correction here. Alec Baldwin has said he fired the gun to the police, but he never pulled the trigger. So I'm not sure how one does that. Perhaps the gun went off.
Saying it went off.
Yeah, interesting. So I wanted to make sure that was clear because that's important to the story. We are actually finally hearing from one of the Nigerian brothers at the Jussie Smollett trial. Jussie is accused of staging a homophobic and racist attack on himself back in January in 2019. And yesterday, one of the men involved in that attack, Abel Osundaro, told the court that Jussie told him to punch him, but not too hard. Enough to give him a bruise. He agreed to go along with the hoax in hopes that Jussie would help him with his acting career. He also said Jussie wanted another man involved, so he roped his brother into the scheme. Now, he's being cross-examined as we speak. There is some alleged thought that perhaps he wanted to have a relationship with Jussie. He's claiming they just wanted to be friends. But what do we believe here, and how do you think the Smollett trial is going?
I know.
I don't mean to laugh, but I feel like a lot of us all feel like it's...
I mean,
it's not good.
It's like...
It's not good. Yeah.
Y'all...
We should have a clip of her saying nothing but saying everything.
I can't.
Yeah. So
I can't. The whole thing is just, I think sometimes we get into situations where we are the not only the star but the entire cast of our own drama.
Yes.
And then we start to manipulate things in hopes that will make it better for us somehow.
Right.
But ultimately, this has always been my thing. I will go to my grave believing this. You will hurt yourself before you hurt someone else out of spite. Every time.
Wow.
Every time. And I think that is such an important lesson for people to exercise in all facets of their life. I live and die by that.
Wow, you will hurt yourself.
Every time.
Every time. That's really good saying.
Mine isn't that powerful. I was just saying, I live by what Judge Judy said. If something doesn't make sense, it's not true. And
that's fair too.
It doesn't it just like, first of all, that's simply brilliant, but like it really applies to this in that just where it happened and how it happened and the events, it just doesn't make sense. And I think for a lot of people that consider themselves advocates, not only for the gay community, but for the human community, I don't want to see anyone beat up or attacked for anything they believe or they are. And so I want to, the fact that the people that want to defend you are making the series of faces that Erica was.
Right.
It's not a good thing.
It's not a good thing. And
so you don't want to, he has his day in court literally today and for as long as this goes, but it doesn't look great, Tori.
It doesn't. Can I ask you both, do you think anyone believes Jussie Smollett? Does anyone here in the studio believe him? Clap if you do.
I don't think
So is there coming back for him at all?
I mean, they still play him on XM. And, I think as an artist, I don't really count anyone out.
Okay, fair.
I think that we, as artists, are expected to be a little eccentric. I don't know if he's innocent or guilty, but I also don't think that there's no path for redemption. I think he'll get something somewhere.
Come back with Erica Cobb.
I do think he's going to have to admit to whatever happened to get that comeback.
Or to get that comeback, he's got to admit to it. I completely agree. Coming up on DBL, our interview with Vanna White. What's the key to winning big on Wheel of Fortune? Vanna tells us. And Tom Brady wants his son to follow in his legendary footsteps. So should parents have high expectations for their kids? We're chatting about it next. Stay tuned.
Closed captioning provided by
as a DJ.
That's real important to the story.
I didn't mean it.
A little.
So, let's be honest about that. That's confusing. He fired it, but he didn't shoot it.
He's saying he didn't pull the trigger.
But he fired it.
While it was in his hand.
So it discharged.
And there was a weapons expert who said that particular gun
had been done twice before.
Sensitive.
Right. Okay.
To being fired.
So he fired it, but
on the semantics of it all, because people have different jargon for how they refer to, especially if you're not like a firearms expert. Like some people will say, I shot the gun, discharge. Like they'll use all the same word or all different words for the same thing.
Right.
So I'm not caught up on like I pulled the trigger versus I fired the gun.
But what if he didn't even shoot the
culpability issue for is this a tactic that he's saying?
A good defense attorney.
I didn't pull the trigger, it fired the gun, so there might be some sort of culpability difference in if it went off by accident versus he pulled the trigger.
He's saying he would never.
I would assume that there have been movies where the star pulls the trigger because it's necessary for the scene. So whether he pulled the trigger or not, I think should be. He should have pulled the trigger if he's shooting.
No, but he was rehearsing.
I know, but I'm saying if he was, even if he wasn't, some people are method actors and they want to practice like, I'll see you, whatever, and pull the trigger.
Right.
But he should assume that it's a cold gun. I don't know. I mean, if you're shooting cans in the backyard.
But now look what we're doing, right? This is what Alec Baldwin's team wants. We're now talking about just what she said is the little specifics of did he do this or didn't do that. We're completely distracted about the fact that he shot someone and killed someone. And that's purposeful. That's a strategy to get us all mixed into the details so that we don't know who's capable and who's not.
Well, you can say that somebody was shot and killed, but I mean, did he? If like I hand you something and it goes off?
Right. That's what he's trying to do, hot potato. It was a hot potato.
So
And how do you prove that? Were they filming? Is there video? Is there footage?
It just seems like.
Welcome back to DBL. Tom Brady is revealing what his wife Gisele Bündchen thinks about his son following in Tom's footsteps. So on a recent podcast, Tom talked about watching his alma mater go blue, the University of Michigan. It's also mine. Okay. Sorry, beat the horrible Ohio State.
I didn't see the game. I don't know what happened.
We won very well.
I'll have to look that up.
Okay, with his son, you do that. His oldest son, Jack, have a listen.
Little future Wolverine, my son Jack, sitting on the bed with me as I was jumping around, and we were wrestling on the bed. And I said, "That's where you're going to be. You're going to be in the big house someday. You're going to be the starting quarterback for Michigan." And my wife was like, "Just let him be what he wants to be, for God's sakes."
Okay. So this brings up a philosophical point. Do we push our kids towards what we want them to be, or do we let them go, nurture, let them do whatever they want? Dad of three?
I don't push them.
You don't, so you're not like, Elijah, you're going to be a comic.
No.
Okay.
No. I mean, this is a job that I like.
Right.
But I think that a lot of people would not like it a lot. I think about, like, your husband would hate being a stand-up comic.
Very much so.
You know, you just think about how people are wired, and why would you assume that your kid is going to be just like you? They might want to be behind the scenes. They might want to be in tech and not play football. A lot of people don't want to play football, so most people don't. So I don't know, Erica, I think it's a bad idea to push your kid in the direction that you are, especially when you're at the top of your profession, because we have seen it go south.
Oh, yeah,
you know, can you imagine the pressure you have?
For sure. I think my parents never pushed us in any direction, but one thing that they would not bend on was that we all had to go and complete college. So that was like not up for debate. And in hindsight, and I had this conversation with my sister over the holidays because she did not want to go to college.
Oh, interesting.
And it was basically revealing all of the bribery that my parents did. Like, okay, well, why don't you just do this semester?
Right.
And then if you really hate it, but okay, just complete the year. And if you really, until she was finally like, oh, okay, this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to complete it. But other than that, I mean, my dad was kind of like, you're going to talk for a living?
Yeah,
like, and I was like,
I think you're just going to do what you're going to do. I don't think, you know, your parents held you up and like held little Erica like, you're going to be on the radio someday. It just kind of happens.
Right.
You just kind of gravitate towards what you're supposed to do. Tori, you've always seemed very theatrical.
Always.
And I'm sure your parents encouraged you, but not like pushed you, especially when you're Tom Brady or Michael Jordan or LeBron James, whose son plays basketball. Michael Jordan's son played basketball, and you know, he was a Division I. Michael Jordan's son was a Division I athlete, but was never what Michael was, and I'm sure that weighed on him mentally.
Well, that's my thing is like, don't say like you're going to Michigan, where first of all, great school, but don't say you're doing that because you were the greatest. He'll never top you. That's actually setting him up for self-sabotage.
Absolutely.
He'll never be Tom Brady at Michigan and the Patriots. He might be great, but he'll never be that. And you're creating a child with no path of their own. So it's interesting. My parents always wanted me to go to law school. They still do. We had this conversation a day ago. And I might go. But the idea that they also fostered and supported me and tried to say, like, go do your own thing was very, very helpful. I just don't think
law school at night.
I think you should go to law school.
I think so too. You guys should. You think should I do it?
I really believe you should go to law school.
Hashtag law school if you think I should go. Coming up.
I think somebody's already using that hashtag, but okay.
Coming up on DBL, Vanna White reflects on her years with Pat Sajak and Alex Trebek. You do not want to miss our interview with the Wheel of Fortune legend. Coming up next.
Online about President Joe Biden potentially nominating Vice President Kamala Harris to the Supreme Court. Those rumors were reported in an article published by CNN. The article says, quote, that chatter has already reached the top levels of the Biden orbit, according to one person who's heard it, unquote. In the days after the CNN report was published, there were thousands of mentions of Kamala Harris and Supreme Court across Facebook and Twitter, according to CrowdTangle, a public insights company owned by Facebook. Verify has not been able to confirm whether that claim is true, but we can answer if it's possible. So let's verify. Can a sitting vice president be nominated to the U.S. Supreme Court? Our sources are the U.S. Constitution, records from the U.S. Senate and House of Representatives, and 2 constitutional law experts. There are few restrictions on who can become a Supreme Court justice. The Constitution lists no age or citizenship restrictions, and you don't even have to practice law or even have a law degree. The only restriction for being nominated to the Supreme Court is an impeachment or a conviction that bars you from any federal office. In an email to Verify, Erwin Chemerinsky, dean of Berkeley Law School, said, quote, "I do not see any impediment to a sitting vice president being nominated for the Supreme Court," unquote. Jeffrey Stone, law professor at the University of Chicago, added that if a sitting VP were confirmed to the Supreme Court, they would have to resign as vice president. According to records from the U.S. House and Senate, neither a sitting VP nor a past VP has been nominated to the Supreme Court. But we can verify that, yes, it is possible for a sitting vice president to be nominated to the U.S. Supreme Court. With your Verify, I'm Ariande Till.
Welcome back to DBL. We've all heard the expression, hostess with the mostest, but our next guest really embodies that term. You know her best as the co-host of Wheel of Fortune, Vanna White. That's today's Chatting with the Stars.
Welcome to DBL, Vanna White.
Yes.
Hey.
Vanna, what's it like being an icon? 40 years on Wheel of Fortune.
You know what? I grew up in North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And I still feel like I'm that person. So it hasn't really changed that much as far as my upbringing and the way I raised my kids and stuff. But it is weird to walk into a grocery store and there you are on the cover of a magazine at the checkout line, you know, especially when Newsweek, when I was on the cover of that, it's like, wow, I think I've made it.
You made it.
I think you've made it. It looks that way. Yeah, I have to tell you, one of the biggest indicators for me is when you're a part of cemented in history and pop culture. You received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Literally
what was it
cemented.
like? Yes, receiving it with Pat Sajak and Alex Trebek alongside you.
Yes, it was incredible. When I first moved to Hollywood in 1980, I walked down Hollywood Boulevard on those stars, and I said, one day, I'm going to have my own star. So it was really special to receive that star.
I mean, what a life, what a career you've had. And speaking of an incredible career, the late, great Mr. Alex Trebek, you guys had a great long history. Are there any stories that you could share with our audience that, you know, could just make us think of Alex, because we really love him on this show?
You know what you see is what you get. He was down to earth. He was real. I just remember us being on airplanes together, and I'm crocheting and he's reading his book, and it's just easy. It was almost like he's just family.
Well, speaking of family, that's what we are on this panel. We've been together for basically 5 years, every day, thousands of live shows together. We hang out after the show. So I can't imagine what it's like with you and Pat. So, like, how's that relationship? You guys have been together 5 times now.
Tell us the truth.
You know what? He is like a brother. He really is. And in all these years, we've only had one argument, and that was over putting ketchup on a hot dog.
And who won that argument? What was your stance on that argument?
Well, I'm sticking to my ketchup on the hot dog.
Oh, girl,
how about you guys?
Is Pat from Chicago?
It's a stadium mustard.
Of course he's from
stadium mustard. It's
yes,
got to be there.
No, Chicago. You can't put ketchup on a hot dog.
That's the number one indication that you're from Chicago. Yeah. The argument about, like, why would you put ketchup on a hot dog? You're speaking to 2 Chicagoans here, Vanna, just for context, okay?
I thought Pat was born in the Wheel of Fortune studio.
Well, Wheel of Fortune ranks as one of the longest-running game shows with over 7,500 episodes. So what's your favorite part of the job?
It's a half hour of family fun. You turn on the TV and there's all kinds of negative stuff going on. When you put on Wheel of Fortune, you watch people win. It's happy. It's family. And it's been around forever. You know, generations watch this show, from 100-year-olds to babies. So it's just a half hour of family fun. Can't get enough of it.
Vanna, do you ever play along with the contestants, like you know the answer and you're kind of coaxing them into it? Have you ever had that moment, like, it's Africa?
No, just mentally, especially in the bonus round when, you know, obviously I know what the puzzles are, and I'm thinking, call a B, call a B. I'm not saying anything out loud. I'm just sending it to them in my head.
If you could give anybody going on Wheel of Fortune one piece of advice right before they started, what would you tell them?
5 vowels.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay. Yeah.
I love that.
Wait,
I'm going to tell my kids that.
Before we wrap, I have to know, you have been such a big part of pop culture. Who is someone that's a part of pop culture on the rise now that you see yourself in them?
Ooh.
Oh, my goodness. Well, you know, I'm kind of twisting this around, but I grew up wanting to be Dolly Parton. She is such an inspirational woman. She's kind, she's honest, she's real. So I wanted to follow in her footsteps. So she was my idol growing up. And I still love her to this day.
You have walked in Dolly's footsteps, so well done. It's been a pleasure to watch your career.
Thank you.
What a treat, Vanna. What a treat. DBL Nation, as always, you can tune into Wheel of Fortune weeknights on your local station, and you can even stream it on Netflix now. Vanna's everywhere. Thank you so much, Vanna.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
We'll be right back, everybody.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
On November 26th, the World Health Organization announced a new, highly mutated COVID-19 variant of concern, which they named Omicron. The WHO says the new variant was first reported to the organization by South Africa. The same day, the U.S. Department of State announced a travel ban for South Africa and several other neighboring countries. Since then, the term South Africa variant has been a popular search on Google to find information about the Omicron variant. The South African government has pushed back against claims that the variant originated in South Africa. So let's verify. Did the World Health Organization say the Omicron variant originated in South Africa? Our sources are the World Health Organization, the government of Botswana, and South Africa's Department of Health. The WHO said the Omicron variant of COVID-19 was first reported to the organization by South Africa on November 24th, based on a sample collected earlier that month. The governments of South Africa and Botswana later confirmed that cases of the Omicron variant have been detected in foreign visitors to Botswana on November 11th. Since then, multiple agencies have reported instances of the Omicron variant in their country, but its origins remain unknown. The delay between Omicron's earliest confirmed infection and the date it was first reported to the WHO by South Africa has to do with the process of sequencing the variant's genome and identifying its mutations. Now that scientists from South Africa have shared the variant's genome with global health officials, other countries are able to identify the variant with tests and in past samples of the virus. The Director General of the WHO says as of December 1st, at least 23 countries have reported cases of the Omicron variant so far. So we can verify, no. The World Health Organization did not say the Omicron variant originated in South Africa.
For as long as the COVID vaccine has been around, experts have urged wealthy countries like the U.S. to share their doses with poorer nations. And it's not just an act of charity. The World Health Organization says everyone will still be at risk for COVID so long as there are parts of the world that are largely unvaccinated. The virus is still spreading rapidly in some countries and mutating as it does. It may be how we ended up with Omicron. Scientists in South Africa say it has at least 30 mutations, more than we've seen with other variants. Experts at Duke University say Southern Africa has become a super incubator for new strains of COVID because countries there are struggling to get enough vaccines. So far, the U.S. has contributed the most doses to the global vaccine effort, pledging to donate 1.1 billion doses. Still, experts say that may not be enough. Moderna is mobilizing hundreds of workers to start researching the Omicron variant of COVID. They say if needed, a reformulated version of their vaccine could be ready for rollout in early 2022. That's a quick turnaround because researchers are no longer working from scratch. This vaccine would just be a modified version of the one they already have, tweaked to combat Omicron's specific mutations. And it's still not a guarantee we need a special shot at all. Researchers are still trying to figure out how effective our current vaccine is against this new variant. They say it's highly likely the vaccine already offers at least some protection from Omicron.
The holidays are here. You're not going to believe these sweet deals Steph showed Jeff earlier from our friends at Morning Save. Check it out, guys.
is good to be back here, Steph. What do you have for us today?
Hey, Jeff. First up, we've got Heim Vision greets one smart video doorbell. So this deal includes one doorbell with bracket, one chime, one USB cable, and tools to install it. Normally, it's $150, but right now, Jeff, we've got it for only $49, saving up to 67%. Now, Jeff, I have to tell you about this deal. We've got the RBX heated shiatsu massage pillow. So this deal includes one massage pillow, one wall power adapter, one car charger, and a 1-year warranty. So normally, this is $90, but right now we've got it for $25, saving 72%. Now, Jeff, we've got Tahari designer knit ponchos. So this deal includes one poncho, and we've got it in 3 different colors, black, tan, and navy, and it's available in one size that will fit most. So normally, these are $48, but right now they're only $19, saving our viewers 60%. All right, last but certainly not least, we've got Bo Nico 1-gallon ultrasonic humidifier. So this deal includes one humidifier, and the best bit, it's whisper quiet, so you can still get a peaceful night's sleep. And normally, this is as much as $110, Jeff, but we've got it just for DBL viewers for $59, which means they're saving 46%.
Thank you so much, Steph. Head on over to morningsave.com to snag these amazing deals at the lowest prices. You can even visit morningsave.com on your smartphone. Thank you so much, Steph.
We got a quick comment I want to give out. Brandy wrote, you have to do what makes you happy. Life is short. Don't push kids into what you want them to be. Let them be happy. And I thought that was a lovely comment.
Agreed.
And before we go, we'd like to say happy birthday to our executive producer, Chris's mommy, Betty Clark. She's watching in Grafton, Wisconsin. She would not like us to tell you how old she is. She's, well, you know, just say happy birthday.
Yes.
Happy birthday to Betty. We love you, Betty. Enjoy your special day. That's so lovely.
That's so great. You get the chance to see your son on TV saying happy birthday to you. It's every parent's dream.
It's the dreams come true. DBL's new every day. We'll see you same time, same place tomorrow. We're so grateful you're here with us. Bye, guys.
On social media, a lot of people are talking about a heart attack drug called trimethamine, making 3 big claims: that it was added to the kids' Pfizer doses, that it wasn't tested on kids in the clinical trial but was still authorized by the FDA, and that it was added to counteract heart problems caused by the vaccine itself. So let's verify step by step with the help of our sources: the FDA, Pfizer documents, and a trio of infectious disease experts. Let's start with that first claim. Is trimethamine in the children's Pfizer vaccine? That's verified.
The new formulation contains tromethamine, which is known as tris, buffer.
Buffers are added to help maintain a vaccine's pH level, which allows the vaccine to last longer. Which brings us to the second claim, and that's also verified by Pfizer itself. Our experts say that they switched from phosphate buffered saline, or PBS, to tris because it has a longer shelf life. And we should note that it's already in many vaccines.
PBS is just saline and water. Tris buffer adds another feature in terms of it being protective of the mRNA molecule.
So yes, they tested one buffer and authorized another, but our experts are not too concerned.
We have done this for other products and other vaccines where we've made tiny modifications to the formulation to make them more stable.
Which brings us to our third and final claim. Trimethamine is also a drug prescribed to heart attack patients, so some claim online that it's being added to the vaccine to counteract heart-related side effects from the vaccine. Our sources say this is false.
This tiny amount of trimethamine that is put into these vaccine bottles, that is to stabilize the pH of the bottle. It doesn't have anything to do with the pH of the person that vaccinated.
Here's what we're talking about today on Daily Blast Live.
Alec Baldwin claims he did not pull the trigger on the set of Rust, insisting the gun fired on its own. Is his tearful story believable?
How do you come to terms with that?
More details come out in the Michigan school shooting. A former congresswoman and gun violence survivor weighs in on how this could have been prevented. He lost his home, his career, and his kids overnight. This Emmy-nominated actor joins us live to tell us how divorce changed everything. And Sheryl Lee Ralph is also here live, how her new sitcom is tackling serious issues while making us laugh.
Oh my gosh.
Are you insane? This is a sham.
No.
Nope.
Y'all, just stop.
Finally here, drum roll. Welcome to DBL. It's Thursday, December 2nd. I am Tori, and I'm in for Sam, and I'm here with my good friends Erica and Al.
Hey, we missed you.
I missed you too.
Yeah.
It was lovely to be home. Just so you know when you go home and you smell that the home cooking smell, the onions and the garlic. That's what I smell.
All right.
Well, you did Thanksgiving,
and Hanukkah. A lot of Lakis, a lot of oil. A lot of good food.
I love it.
I gained 10 pounds. All right, let's start with Alec Baldwin, y'all. He's speaking out about the shooting on the set of his movie Rust that, if you remember, killed cinematographer Helena Hutchins. So Alec is now claiming he did not pull the trigger. So that contradicts witness statements on what Baldwin originally told officers. Let's take a look.
Well, the trigger wasn't pulled. I didn't pull the trigger.
So you never pulled the trigger?
No. I would never point a gun at anyone and pull a trigger at them, never. Someone put a live bullet in a gun, a bullet that wasn't even supposed to be on the property.
So now the Santa Fe sheriff is hitting back right now at Baldwin's story, telling Fox News that, quote, guns don't just go off. So whatever needs to happen to manipulate the firearm.
Are we sure that's true?
I know. Baldwin did that, and it was in his hands. Now, I realize this is a strategy. We're now talking about the very semantics of who did what instead of the main picture, which is a defense strategy. But does it matter if he pulled the trigger or if he didn't? And do you believe him? Because he told the cops he fired the gun, but he didn't pull the trigger. He never said he pulled the trigger.
I believe it matters, but the question is, what does it matter for?
Right.
Does it matter in terms of the responsibility, the culpability? Does it matter in terms of
sentencing?
The insurance?
Right.
You know, like there's a reason why it matters.
Right.
And that's what my question is what is the end game? Because obviously no one or most people don't believe that Alec Baldwin intentionally set out to murder Helena Hutchins.
Right.
So by him getting in front of this in this way, is it because this is going to be a very long, drawn-out process and he wants to clear the air on his end? And why? That's really the question.
Which is a good point. Do you think it worked? Meaning, to me, it felt a little, and I don't know about you guys, write me in, but a little like publicists set up the music, the posture, the crying. It felt a little like an SNL sketch, to be honest.
Well, the crying may be real. I mean, somebody that he knew is dead.
Right.
So, you know, I'm going to give him that. What I will say about this is, Erica, you just made me think about something when you said, why does it matter? I was like, well, why does it matter? It's probably because we're talking about millions of dollars of insurance money and who's going to pay that and who's going to receive that. And until you figure out and have a dead to rights, no pun intended, this is the guilty party, and this is the person that was negligent, and this is why they are going to pay, whether it be the production studio, whether it be Alec Baldwin himself, or whoever, whatever subsidiary that this is all under. Like, I think that's where we're going with this, but it seems like for the public, for our consumption, it seems like it's more focused around his celebrity. But I think really this is going to be more boring black and white paper in terms of just like who gets paid and who doesn't.
Yeah, and how did that live round got there? They did say that right after it went off, someone shook the cartridge box and some didn't rattle, and a rattle tells you it's a dummy round. And so now they're looking into, did they get live rounds mixed in with dummy rounds, and maybe that also has culpability issues as well.
Well, yeah, this is what happens.
And one of the first stories that was reported was that they were using those same guns to go out plinking or whatever, basically shooting cans.
The cans, right.
So based on that story, if that is correct or not, we know how the live rounds would have been somewhere in the vicinity.
On the property, right. And they also did say that guns discharged and had malfunctions with live rounds. That's when some people have walked off the set. They said there was a discharge on a gun 2 times. So
yeah, I feel like we're just zooming in on one or two parts of the story, but I think there's an overall arching issue of negligence here, whether it be the COVID issue, whether it be the lodging issue. They were staying
the bullets,
hours away.
The armor, right.
It just seems like this is a fundamental breakdown of procedure, and this is what happens when you, because I'm sure that it's much more expensive to deal with a union.
Yeah.
You know, and they're like, oh, he's a union guy, she's a union woman. They're more expensive. But the reason they are is because they do things a certain way. When you go non-union, it will be cheaper. And 9 times out of 10, it will probably be okay.
Right.
But this is what we're talking about when you have people that are doing jobs that they're kind of right for, but not all the way, especially when you're talking about guns or a stunt driver or anything like that. These are people's life or death, and this is what happens.
Yeah.
This isn't just to slow things down. This is people's lives, and somebody's mom is gone because of this. Somebody's wife is gone because
Let's
of this.
not forget about Helena Hutchins and all this.
Absolutely.
I appreciate that, Al. All right, coming up on DBL, as we learn more about the Michigan school shooting, we're joined by a gun violence survivor and former Congresswoman to break down what has been done to stop them. Stay tuned, y'all.
Closed captioning provided by
It's so easy.
Yeah.
The whole thing fell.
Of someone who's
all right.
Yeah, that's true.
A lot of gun talk today, and I'm sure we're going to be prepped for this interview. Megan?
Well, you guys have a B block first, but then I'm C block. So
I actually do want to talk about B.
Yeah.
With Michael Dean here.
Yeah. And I went over this with them already, but you guys see these extra little bits after the third question? Hopefully.
Okay. So what we know about this woman who's joining us, she's with the Giffords.
Yeah.
Gifford
Called
Foundation,
Gifford.
so she's very much into gun control and all that. And I know you all probably are too, but I would like to offer up, as we're talking to her, what the other side says. So you can say, I know some on the other side would say to this.
Absolutely.
So a little devil's advocate with her so
Okay.
that we can have a bit of
So
a
anyone
debate,
can
even
say
though
these.
Right.
I know you're probably on her side. But
Right, but I mean, gun control is like, I don't even know if it's devil's advocate. It's half the country, if not more.
Well, two-thirds of Americans support gun control legislation.
Right.
You know, and she'll make that point. So.
1/3 is noisy. Yeah, it's you know, I'm really. It just shows you how popular marijuana was in terms of getting it on the ballot and passed. Because I don't know if we can get anything. I don't know if we can get seatbelts passed now. I think there would be so many governors that would like sit down like. You can't move.
obviously
and
there's
you're
no
right.
helmet law in Colorado.
There's
right?
no a lot of places don't have helmet laws.
I'm surprised
state
by
by
that. I
state.
see people all the time riding without helmets, and I'm surprised by it because I
I'm
thought
still
that was
surprised
national.
by seeing people holding their phones in their car.
Is that a law here?
No, it's not, but in California,
California
you
it is.
definitely can't.
Oh, you get a ticket.
Drives free. You have to do it hands free.
I got pulled over in LA for holding my phone.
I got
It's
a
like
ticket.
8 years
Me
ago.
too.
It was like kind of new.
But that's the
And I
California
was
thing.
like, what is
Colorado's
the cut?
not.
I didn't know why I was getting pulled over.
Welcome back to DBL, everyone. We have an update on the school shooting in Michigan that we've been following. 4 students died in the attack on Tuesday, and the suspect has been charged as an adult with 1 count of terrorism and 4 counts of first-degree murder. And get this, police say the suspect recorded videos on his phone the night before the attack in which he talked about shooting and killing students. We're also learning his parents came to the school hours before to meet with him and his teachers to discuss his behavioral issues. For more on this issue and the issue of gun violence in our schools, we're joined by former Congresswoman Debbie Mucarsel-Powell. She's also a senior advocate at Giffords, a gun control advocacy group. Welcome, Debbie. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Now, you are, in fact, a survivor of gun violence. Your father died in 1996 from gunshot wounds. So based on your experience, what are these 4 families in Michigan going through right now?
Listen, like you said, this is a personal issue for me that I've been fighting to correct here in this country for many years. And I can tell you that as a mom, this is every parent's worst nightmare. I worry about sending my children to school, and I've spoken to so many parents that lost their children at the Parkland shooting here in Florida, parents that lose their kids from drive-by shootings. We are losing too many children to this gun violence epidemic. My heart breaks for those families, and this is a preventable event.
Yes.
We have measures that we can institute right away to prevent the next school shooting. Schools are a place for children to learn. They should feel safe. Parents should feel safe sending their children to school. We should not have active shooter drills. We should not be anxious when we hear of school lockdowns. We've been experiencing at a high rate in the past few years here in this country. So let me just say that pain and that trauma leaves families broken and communities as well for many years after that pain.
I echo that sentiment. We should not be experiencing this as families, as a nation, in what should be our safest places, right? But this was the deadliest school shooting in America this year. So in your opinion, what needs to happen to stop gun violence?
We do know that not one measure is going to stop every gun violence event, but there are different things that we can do. We could pass the universal background check bill, which just today, just to tell you, I just found out that Republicans in the Senate went to the Senate floor to block passing a universal background check bill, which most Americans agree, Republicans, Democrats, Independents, that we need to act and prevent people that shouldn't have a gun from purchasing a weapon. If parents have a weapon at home, we can pass laws that provide for a safety measure so that they can have safe storage laws in their states. We also need to raise the minimum age for children who can purchase a weapon from 18 to 21. There are many things that we can do, but we cannot continue to turn our heads and ignore this crisis that we have. It's a national crisis, and we can't continue to see children dying from gun violence.
It's a national crisis and it's a personal crisis. I mean, I lost a good friend of mine to gun violence years ago before this was kind of on everybody's lips. And, so this is very personal to me. But, we have a lot of viewers here and they need to be spoken for, too. And a lot of them are saying that, I disagree with you. I don't think that this is a gun problem. This is more of a mental health problem. So this is your chance to talk right to that viewer. What would you say to them that says that this is a mental health problem and not a gun problem?
The United States has similar rates of mental illness than most other comparable nations, yet we have much higher rates of gun violence. Guns are meant to kill. If we have a 15-year-old that is meant to cause harm and he's able to get a weapon, whether from his father or from gun trafficking, which we've also seen in this country, he will kill many more people than if he's not able to get that weapon. That is why we have to pass gun safety measures. We have laws that can stop people from purchasing a weapon when they're meant to harm. This is not political. This is about safety. We are the only country in the world that experiences the rate of mass shootings that we see, particularly losing children to this epidemic. 91% of children, listen to this statistic, 91% of children who are killed to gun violence are killed here in the United States. Wow. This has to stop. And I don't want anyone to think that because someone is suffering from mental illness, they're going to go and get a weapon and kill. It's not that simple. It's the easy access to getting a weapon that is the problem that we have here in America.
I think that's what we hear from our viewers a lot is that, they're worried about that these gun control laws do not deter crime, more that they're going to deter the good guys with the guns and only leave the bad guys with the guns. What would you say to that?
Look, we know, and we've seen much data that shows that more guns in the streets create more violence. When you have any sort of event, when there are weapons involved, it can escalate very quickly, and it can then in turn out to have homicide rates that are higher than in other places that we've seen when guns are not involved. So it's a false equivalency. It's misinformation, to tell you the truth. I think that this is a message that has been used by the NRA and the gun lobby for many, many years. And to tell you the truth, what we need is gun laws that are going to protect our families and our communities. Again, most Americans agree. A basic universal background check. If you have a violent record, you should not be able to purchase a weapon. If you don't have a license to sell arms, you should not be able to sell arms at gun shows. There are many things that we need, loopholes that we need to close in the law. And there's a way to do that.
Yes.
And we are seeing that senators who are beholden to the gun lobby are not acting. That has to stop. I don't think that Americans want to continue to wake up to the news of yet another tragedy like the one that we just saw in Michigan.
You're absolutely right. Debbie, thank you so much for being here. I have to say, your father would be very proud of you. We'll be right back. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Online about President Joe Biden potentially nominating Vice President Kamala Harris to the Supreme Court. Those rumors were reported in an article published by CNN. The article says, quote, that chatter has already reached the top levels of the Biden orbit, according to one person who's heard it, unquote. In the days after the CNN report was published, there were thousands of mentions of Kamala Harris and Supreme Court across Facebook and Twitter, according to CrowdTangle, a public insights company owned by Facebook. Verify has not been able to confirm whether that claim is true, but we can answer if it's possible. So let's verify. Can a sitting vice president be nominated to the U.S. Supreme Court? Our sources are the U.S. Constitution, records from the U.S. Senate and House of Representatives, and 2 constitutional law experts. There are few restrictions on who can become a Supreme Court justice. The Constitution lists no age or citizenship restrictions, and you don't even have to practice law or even have a law degree. The only restriction for being nominated to the Supreme Court is an impeachment or a conviction that bars you from any federal office. In an email to Verify, Erwin Chemerinsky, dean of Berkeley Law School, said, quote, I do not see any impediment to a sitting vice president being nominated for the Supreme Court, unquote. Jeffrey Stone, law professor at the University of Chicago, added that if a sitting VP were confirmed to the Supreme Court, they would have to resign as vice president. According to records from the U.S. House and Senate, neither a sitting VP nor a past VP has been nominated to the Supreme Court. But we can verify that, yes, it is possible for a sitting vice president to be nominated to the U.S. Supreme Court. With your Verify, I'm Ariande Till.
He is an Emmy-nominated actor who lost his home, his career, and his kids overnight because of divorce. And that's why he's written a book with hopes of telling his truth and helping others. Please welcome to the show, Greg Ellis. Welcome, Greg. Thank you for being here.
Hey, Greg.
Thank you very much for having me. It's great to be on.
Absolutely. Now, before we get into the night your life was literally turned upside down, tell us what your life was like before that evening. Paint us a picture.
20 years married, happily, living the American dream. Beautiful home, member of the country club, kids in an exclusive elite private school, and I was flying around the world on location filming, and had a great career, so life was pretty wonderful.
Wow, pretty sunny.
So Greg, you've said that a 10-word lie ruined your life. What was the lie and what happened after it was said?
Well, yeah, it was March 5th, 2015, and in the span of 8 hours on that day, I was ushered from my home in handcuffs. At the behest, I later discovered, of my ex-wife, imprisoned, the first of 5 incarcerations, subjected to a temporary restraining order, became homeless, almost destitute overnight, and watched helplessly as my professional reputation was irretrievably destroyed, and my sons lost their loving, present father for half their childhoods.
Wow.
And in crossing that legal Rubicon from citizen to respondent, which is the name given to the defendant in a family law or divorce court proceeding, I migrated from a world of presumed innocence, earned privilege, and respected privacy to one of assumed guilt and immediate and ruthless judgment. And when I discovered that family law is the only branch of our legal system where there's no presumption of innocence, that means that murderers, rapists, terrorists, pedophiles all get more legal rights than law-abiding citizens. I started to wonder why we have this meaning crisis, why we have this dad deprivation crisis, why America is the world leader in children growing up in single-parent households. And to Debbie's point, I believe the gravest indicator at the root of America's torn familial tapestry is marriage and family breakdown. Social ills and public policy stem from the health and well-being of relationships and family formation. And we have to be asking that question. Why is there such a meaning crisis? Why are there so many shooters who come from dad-deprived homes? And why are we not speaking about the causality and correlation with young males, gun violence, and our dad deprivation crisis? This is a national health emergency, maybe even global, that nobody's talking about. And family law is really at the core of this. And we must do a better job protecting the most vulnerable among us.
So, Greg, what were the 10 words that put you into this tailspin?
Yeah, there was a call that went to law enforcement from my ex-wife, and she asked them to come to the house and said that I was confused. They said, "We can't come to the house if he's confused." And she said, "What do you need to hear?" And they said, "We need to hear he's a threat to himself or the children." And the 10 words were, "I'm sick of this S word. I'm gonna harm the children." And those 10 words basically ruined my life. And welcome to family law.
Wow. Wow. All right. You haven't seen your sons in a couple years now, Greg. If you have the floor, you have this platform, what do you want them to know?
Well, yeah. Oh, that's a.
I know that's a big
it's painful
question.
to talk about.
Yeah.
I can't imagine.
Yeah. I just refer to the book, really. I write, one of my final chapters in the book is called A Funeral for My Sons. And in order to live through the living grief, as I talk about it, I talk with parents through my charity foundation, CPU, Children and Parents United, about the suicide by living grief, the lack of finality and closure. I didn't want to write my book. I had to. That final chapter was really, it was a ritual funeral ceremony that I had to enact myself to lay to rest the living grief of being suddenly and shockingly and catastrophically separated from my 2 boys, who were the meaning of my life. And I wrote the book to make sense as well of the government-sponsored devastation of my life and destruction of my family. It was part of my sense-making therapy and recovery. I wrote it to ring the alarm bell about a broken system and call for social change and family law reform, because this is happening and has been happening for decades to tens of thousands of parents and children across America. But more than anything, I wrote it to let my children know that I haven't and hadn't and never would abandon them. And my door is wide open. I love them so much. They were my everything.
Wow.
They were and are my everything.
Wow.
So now I dedicate my time and my mission to helping other children and parents navigate this horrifically unfair divorce system that we have in America.
Wow.
And call for social change and bring about policies and educate people. I just want to give a quick shout out to Representative Creech and his colleagues in Ohio who are pushing through the equal shared parenting bill that's going to save thousands of children and parents' lives, literally.
That's
and
amazing.
I don't say that lightly.
Thank you so much.
So there's many great local heroes across America doing great work.
Thank you for that. To our DBL Nation, visit Greg's website, therespondent.com. You can also purchase his book or soon-to-be released audiobook. You can also learn about his nonprofit aimed at helping families through divorce. Greg, thank you again for being here and for your courage. We'll be right back. Thank you.
Thanks to all of you. Be well.
Absolutely. You too.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by...
Are you on...
On November 26th, the World Health Organization announced a new, highly mutated COVID-19 variant of concern, which they named Omicron. The WHO says the new variant was first reported to the organization by South Africa. The same day, the U.S. Department of State announced a travel ban for South Africa and several other neighboring countries. Since then, the term South Africa variant has been a popular search on Google to find information about the Omicron variant. The South African government has pushed back against claims that the variant originated in South Africa. So let's verify. Did the World Health Organization say the Omicron variant originated in South Africa? Our sources are the World Health Organization, the government of Botswana, and South Africa's Department of Health. The WHO said the Omicron variant of COVID-19 was first reported to the organization by South Africa on November 24th, based on a sample collected earlier that month. The governments of South Africa and Botswana later confirmed that cases of the Omicron variant have been detected in foreign visitors to Botswana on November 11th. Since then, multiple agencies have reported instances of the Omicron variant in their country, but its origins remain unknown. The delay between Omicron's earliest confirmed infection and the date it was first reported to the WHO by South Africa has to do with the process of sequencing the variant's genome and identifying its mutations. Now that scientists from South Africa have shared the variant's genome with global health officials, other countries are able to identify the variant with tests and in past samples of the virus. The Director General of the WHO says as of December 1st, at least 23 countries have reported cases of the Omicron variant so far. So we can verify, no. The World Health Organization did not say the Omicron variant originated in South Africa.
For as long as the COVID vaccine has been around, experts have urged wealthy countries like the U.S. to share their doses with poorer nations. And it's not just an act of charity. The World Health Organization says everyone will still be at risk for COVID so long as there are parts of the world that are largely unvaccinated. The virus is still spreading rapidly in some countries and mutating as it does. It may be how we ended up with Omicron. Scientists in South Africa say it has at least 30 mutations, more than we've seen with other variants. Experts at Duke University say Southern Africa has become a super incubator for new strains of COVID because countries there are struggling to get enough vaccines. So far, the U.S. has contributed the most doses to the global vaccine effort, pledging to donate 1.1 billion doses. Still, experts say that may not be enough. Moderna is mobilizing hundreds of workers to start researching the Omicron variant of COVID. They say if needed, a reformulated version of their vaccine could be ready for rollout in early 2022. That's a quick turnaround because researchers are no longer working from scratch. This vaccine would just be a modified version of the one they already have, tweaked to combat Omicron's specific mutations. And it's still not a guarantee we need a special shot at all. Researchers are still trying to figure out how effective our current vaccine is against this new variant. They say it's highly likely the vaccine already offers at least some protection from Omicron.
If you're leaving us, you can watch the second half of the show online. Watch on YouTube, dailyblastlive.com, or our DBL mobile app. But if you're sticking around, you're much cooler. Here's what's coming up. Will Jussie Smollett's defense hold up? The testimony that claims he instructed the brothers on how to fake a fight. And Tom Brady wants his son to follow in his footsteps. But is it too much pressure?
On social media, a lot of people are talking about a heart attack drug called tromethamine, making three big claims: that it was added to the kids' Pfizer doses, that it wasn't tested on kids in the clinical trial but was still authorized by the FDA, and that it was added to counteract heart problems caused by the vaccine itself. So let's verify step by step with the help of our sources: the FDA, Pfizer documents, and a trio of infectious disease experts. Let's start with that first claim. Is tromethamine in the children's Pfizer vaccine? That's verified.
The new formulation contains tromethamine, which is known as Tris buffer.
Buffers are added to help maintain a vaccine's pH level, which allows the vaccine to last longer. Which brings us to the second claim, and that's also verified by Pfizer itself. Our experts say that they switched from phosphate buffered saline, or PBS, to Tris because it has a longer shelf life. And we should note that it's already in many vaccines.
PBS is just saline and water. Tris buffer adds another feature in terms of it being protective of the mRNA molecule.
So yes, they tested one buffer and authorized another, but our experts are not too concerned.
We have done this for other products and other vaccines where we've made tiny modifications to the formulation to make them more stable.
Which brings us to our third and final claim. Tromethamine is also a drug prescribed to heart attack patients, so some claim online that it's being added to the vaccine to counteract heart-related side effects from the vaccine. Our sources say this is false.
This tiny amount of tromethamine that is put into these vaccine bottles, that is to stabilize the pH of the bottle, It doesn't have anything to do with the pH of the person that vaccine is going into.
This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Oh my gosh.
Are you insane?
This is a sham.
No.
Nope.
Y'all just
It's
stop.
finally here. Drum roll. Welcome to Daily Blast Live, y'all. I'm Tori, and I'm in for Sam. I'm here with Al and Erica, and we are finally hearing from one of the Nigerian brothers at the Jussie Smollett trial. Now, if you don't remember, or you live under a rock, Jussie is accused of staging a homophobic and racist attack on himself back in January 2019. So yesterday, though, one of the men involved in that attack, Abel Daro, told the court that Jussie told him to punch him, but not too hard, just enough to give him a bruise. He agreed to go along with the hoax in hopes Jussie would help him out with his acting career. He also said Jussie wanted another man involved, so he roped his brother into the scheme. Now, as we are discussing this, the cross-examination is going after him right now, and they are suggesting or implying that Abel did this because he wanted a relationship with Jussie, and he is trying to say that's not true, but they're going for a motive in another way of trying to give us a distraction. Do we believe the brother? Do we believe Jussie? And can Jussie come back? I don't believe Jussie. I'll be very open about that. Do you believe Jussie?
I don't. You know, I always say this, I'm a big daytime TV fan before I started doing it, and I love Judge Judy, and Judge Judy always said if something doesn't make sense, it means it's not true.
Yeah.
And a lot of the things in this case do not make sense, Erica. And I remember when we were covering this story, like pre-pandemic, seems like a million years ago.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, I didn't say anything at the time because at this time, it was, you want to believe. You believe. And I remember we did the story where he did a concert that week. That weekend he sang. And I have buddies of mine that play D1 football. Your brother played pro football. Cracked ribs, which is what he claimed one of his injuries were.
Hard to sing, isn't it?
It's hard to breathe.
Yeah.
You can't sleep, much less hold a note, much less laugh. So I thought that was, or sneeze. So I remember sitting in that chair being like, that's weird, but I didn't want to come out because that was all I just was like,
sus.
that's weird. That's a little sus. What'd you think?
You know, gosh, I mean, I'm trying to make sense out of this story, right? Because it defies logic. But I think of it like this. Apparently, the motive that they're saying they're going with was that Jussie was feeling like his security concerns by getting like threatening mail or hate mail to the studio for which he worked wasn't being addressed adequately.
Correct.
And I think that taking this out, most people at some point in their lives have felt in their careers that they aren't seen, they aren't heard, and they're not protected, even though they're giving their best and their lives to this company.
True.
But we don't remedy the situation by doing this, what I like to call like, see, I got you, I told you so. Like, that's how this feels to me.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this could have happened. Let's see what happens when it happens.
Right.
And that's where the whole thing goes AWOL. It goes completely awry because had he just, and this is the thing I always look at when I think about criminal minds, like when people do things, I'm like, if you would have just gone through the proper channels,
I know,
it may not have felt good to you. It may have felt even worse to have like insult into injury if they did nothing about it. But at least you explored the channels that were there legally.
Right, and you didn't lose the reputation in the meantime.
Exactly.
Yeah, I just
and
don't
maybe
see.
Cost them the show. The show went off the air.
Oh yeah, it cost everybody.
I mean,
and
damaged
doubling
so
down
many
and
people.
doubling down. It's just, I just think it's gotten worse and worse. I agree. Let us know what you guys think. If you believe, if you don't, we'd love to hear from you. Let's move over to the old football.
That's how people used to throw in the 1930s. Like, just like, that was very old school, but I like it. There we go.
Down
Throwback.
the line. There we go. Tom Brady is revealing what his wife Gisele Bündchen thinks about his son following in Tom's footsteps. On a recent podcast, Tom talked about watching his alma mater, the greatest university of all, the University of Michigan. Hail to the victors valiant. That's my alma mater. Thank you. Beat Ohio State.
Why is that relevant to the story?
Very.
We don't need
That's
to
the
put that.
biggest part of the story.
Whoever did the prompter, that was very negligent.
Very part of the story. Yep, very. With his oldest son, Jack, have a listen to what he said.
I had a little future Wolverine, my son Jack, sitting on the bed with me as I was jumping around, and we were wrestling on the bed. And I said, that's where you're going to be. You're going to be in the big house someday. You're going to be the starting quarterback for Michigan. And my wife was like, just let him be what he wants to be, for God's sakes.
Imagine if Giselle had a daughter and was like, you're going to be a supermodel like me. Like, that's setting the kid up to never be enough.
Yeah.
You're going to tell Tom Brady's son you're going to go to Michigan like me and try and beat me. The odds of that happening are incredibly rare. Incredibly rare.
One of the things I thought about for my personal situation is, you know, my dad has our family funeral home.
Right.
And none of us are in that industry. And I know it's very disappointing to him.
It is.
That none of his children will take over his legacy.
Has he said that to you guys? Has he been open about that?
It's a very open thing.
Oh, wow. He's very upset.
Very open.
And your dad doesn't seem like he works in the world of nuance a lot.
Yeah, you know, for a while I felt some type of way, like, well, maybe I could. And I'm like, that's not what I meant to do. So I think a lot of people have been put in this situation for one reason or another, and a lot of people will just follow suit because you don't want to disappoint your parents or end the legacy. But how long will the legacy, like, honestly, if I took over a funeral home tomorrow, how long would that last?
It would be a really glamorous funeral.
How long?
It really would be. It'd be fabulous.
It would be fabulous.
Is that a red bottom casket?
She looks amazing. Is that Louis Vuitton? No, that's incredible. But what do you think about your sons following in? Like, Elijah's interested in acting and stuff. Would you want him to go into that?
But he came to it naturally.
I see.
And you know, I think that you almost put handcuffs on your kid when you tell them that you want, even just saying it, not forcing them, but just saying, I want you to follow your old dad. Well, your kids look at you like you're the son. You know, so like whatever you say to them is going to resonate more than just like, oh, well, they knew they could have done something else. They don't know that.
They don't know that.
They think if I do anything else, that my dad or my mom is going to be disappointed in me. And that's why as we're sitting here, we probably have people in professions that are good at it, but like would rather be doing something else.
Miserable.
You would be great at running a funeral home. You're organized, you're good with people, but look at you on this job. I'm sure your dad looks at you like, I'm glad she didn't listen.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just, but it's hard.
Yeah,
it's hard, you know?
It's letting your child find their own path when it's not your path to go down. Yeah. That's a hard thing to vicariously not do. All right, coming up on DBL.
And that was quite a sentence to end it.
Yeah, I think it was way to end it.
Vicariously not do.
Well said, Tori, grammatically. Sheryl Lee Ralph is here. Doesn't matter. She's here live.
Yes.
She's telling us all about her new sitcom that sheds light on some serious topics. We love you, Miss Sheryl.
We need her to.
But before we go to break, Dave Grohl is honoring Jewish singers for 8 days of Hanukkah. Here's his cover of Barry Manilow's Copacabana. You're welcome. Take a look.
Copacabana, the hottest spot north of Havana. At the Copacabana.
Closed captioning provided by.
As a DJ.
All right. We just want to break with Dave Grohl, leader of
I'm so excited for that.
lead singer of the Foo Fighters.
And then the last question
I didn't know
about her
like
age
what a
activity.
really just prophetic
so it's like
musician he is, and he just seems like a cool guy.
Really good about,
He's got that kind of career that I think everybody wants because he's a rock star.
Preventative
Dave Grohl.
Okay,
Sorry.
I know him.
The leader of the Foo Fighters, you know?
I know who he is, but I don't know anything about.
Right, but I would just say he's got that kind of celebrity. That almost I kind of want with like Tom Hanks, where you're super famous, but you're still kind of like right underneath the radar. Because I wouldn't want that like
thanks so much.
Flash bulbs. You go to a restaurant and it's crazy all the time, like probably how Kim Kardashian. I want that like low key, can put a baseball hat on, but also like you can have like the celebrity along with it and your talent and
how do
your
you want to
fans.
ask
So I don't know if that
comments?
makes any sense, but I would love to be famous, but I don't want to be can't go to a restaurant or like would cause a riot at the mall famous. That doesn't seem fun. You know, like the kind of famous where you gotta like you gotta go to Disney World when it's closed.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't.
No.
Thank you, Anthony.
And I'm a more of a fortune over fame person, and not even like fortune in terms of like billions of dollars. Just like
such a good question.
Don't have to think about money type money.
Comfy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're real comfy.
I would take that over people knowing who I am.
Yeah, I think a lot of people do. They're called producers, executive, the people behind the camera. Where you go,
That's a
who's
brilliant
the person who's the lead on whatever show? They would love to be the EP because they're the person that cuts the check. So
I'm going
I don't.
right
I'd be
here
down with
today.
that. Tori, how
Yes.
famous do you want to be?
How famous?
Yes. Do you want
My fame is Joan Cusack famous, where you see her and you're always like, oh, I love her. I'm so glad she's in this movie. But no paparazzi is following her around. That's the type of famous I want to be. You know her in Target, but no one's bothering her.
Cheesesteak.
This is a classroom, not a hoagie stand.
We had it on the board. This Diva Star Power not only lights up a room, it also shines bright on Broadway stages and on Hollywood sets. Ladies and gentlemen, Sheryl Lee Ralph joins us.
Yes.
Hello,
Yes.
Sheryl. Now, we are told you heard a little bit of our last block, which we love when our guests listen. We were talking about Jussie Smollett. In your opinion, can he have a comeback? Talk to us.
Wait a minute. Did you ask me, could he have a comeback after what he did? Of course he can. Are you kidding me? This is America. We have had people who just recently might have broken the whole country, and they're talking about running again and might win. So can Jussie Smollett have a comeback? Yes, he can. And it's very hard because I have to be upfront. I love Jussie. I've known him since he was a child. Did he make a very bad mistake? Yes, he did. But when it comes to entertainment and capitalism in America, can he have a comeback? Yes, he absolutely can.
Well said.
Yeah,
Well, Miss
he can.
Sheryl,
This is showbiz, baby.
I just have to say that my mantra is everyone's deserving of the comeback that they're willing to earn. So it's not a matter of if. A lot of times it's just a matter of when.
I love this. Very smart.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That part.
That's right. Yeah. All right, I can't wait to ask you this question. I've been dying to ask you. Dr. Oz, that Dr. Oz is running for Senate, Miss Sheryl, in your state of Pennsylvania, where your husband is a state senator. Does Dr. Oz have what it takes? Miss Sheryl, you have the floor.
I've got to tell you something. There's so many things that I want to say, but I have always been taught that inner thoughts need not be outer thoughts, especially when you want to say things like carpetbagger. Everybody wants to think that they can just up and be a politician. My husband, Senator Vincent Hughes of Pennsylvania, works 28 hours a day. He works 9 days a week. He must always be available to the people. He must always be thinking about how to move not just his community, but his state, his city, as part of these United States. And a lot of people are just out there ego tripping, and I wish it would stop because it was ego trips that have gotten us to the state where we are, where so many people in our country don't even know what right from wrong is anymore. And I think Dr. Oz is making a wrong move.
Well said. Now we're going to get to some good things. Your show, Abbott Elementary, which also my girl Janelle James is on that show right there. My friend Janelle, I've known her since she started her career. She's an incredible person and a good friend of mine. So it's so cool to see two people I love working together.
That's lovely.
And I really do believe that Janelle is a breakout in this show. She's just so uniquely talented, and it's wonderful working with her. And Abbott Elementary has been a blessing to me, and I believe that this show has the possibility of turning into America's new favorite comedy. It just has so many wonderful things to say, and the way we have the ability to tackle the seriousness with comedy is just wonderful.
Wow.
Well, and I understand that this is really like art imitating reality in some form because you come from a family of educators. Who in your family is most like your character?
Oh my gosh. You know what? I would really have to say in so many ways, I am playing my Auntie Carolyn. My Auntie Carolyn was the teacher that nobody ever forgot. And and still people would say, aren't you Miss Preston's niece? And I'm just like, yes, I am. They're like, I went to Bunker Hill. She changed that school. She changed my life. And there are moments in the show, because I play Mrs. Howard, was loosely based on Quinta's mother, who was a 40-year teacher in the Philadelphia school district. And she is also that teacher that the students didn't forget. She might have been tough on you, but she was tough on you because she saw the possibilities in you, and she loved you enough to get you to pass kindergarten with flying A's.
Amen. I think we all know a teacher right now that has pushed us to be where we are. I do have to ask this. You've been an activist since the AIDS epidemic began 40 years ago. I wanted to ask you what we should learn and apply about what we've learned from AIDS and the stigma and testing to the current coronavirus pandemic.
Thank you for that question.
Yeah.
It has been 40 years of AIDS in America, and in my fight, I learned back in the day, people didn't want to get tested for the virus. And when they did get tested, they didn't go back for their results. When you'd have conversations about what is the barrier to passing the disease, the use of condoms, people didn't want to use condoms like they don't want to wear masks now. We didn't have a vaccine back then. Now we have the golden opportunity of a vaccine against corona. People don't want to take it. When people don't take it, it allows the virus to mutate, putting us all the way back at zero. And I wish people would pay attention and learn from the past, because there's a great saying, if you don't remember the past, you are destined to repeat it. And I see us repeating it now. We've had so many variants from Delta to Omicron now. If people would listen to the science, remember, protect yourself.
Yes.
Wear your mask.
Yes.
Get the vaccine. Get the booster too.
Yes.
Why get the booster? Because the vaccine that you had a few months ago might be strong on the variant of a few months ago.
Stay updated.
You need the booster now because you've got Omicron, because you were slow about getting vaccinated in the first place. And
wise
now
words.
You need the booster.
There you go. Wise words from a wise woman. Just do it. Thank you so much for joining us, Miss Sheryl.
We needed you today.
We did need you today.
Me.
We really did. DBL Nation, Abbott Elementary premieres Tuesday night on ABC. Also visits divassimplysinging.com to support the Diva Foundation. One of our favorite guests of all time,
She's
Miss Sheryl
family.
Lee Ralph.
No longer
she
a
is
guest.
family.
You're
We'll be
family.
Right back.
We love you, girl.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Swirling online about President Joe Biden potentially nominating Vice President Kamala Harris to the Supreme Court. Those rumors were reported in an article published by CNN. The article says, quote, that chatter has already reached the top levels of the Biden orbit, according to one person who's heard it, unquote. In the days after the CNN report was published, there were thousands of mentions of Kamala Harris and Supreme Court across Facebook and Twitter, according to CrowdTangle, a public insights company owned by Facebook. Verify has not been able to confirm whether that claim is true, but we can answer if it's possible. So let's verify. Can a sitting vice president be nominated to the U.S. Supreme Court? Our sources are the U.S. Constitution, records from the U.S. Senate and House of Representatives, and 2 constitutional law experts. There are few restrictions on who can become a Supreme Court justice. The Constitution lists no age or citizenship restrictions, and you don't even have to practice law or even have a law degree. The only restriction for being nominated to the Supreme Court is an impeachment or a conviction that bars you from any federal office. In an email to Verify, Erwin Chemerinsky, dean of Berkeley Law School, said, quote, I do not see any impediment to a sitting vice president being nominated for the Supreme Court, unquote. Jeffrey Stone, law professor at the University of Chicago, added that if a sitting VP were confirmed to the Supreme Court, they would have to resign as vice president. According to records from the U.S. House and Senate, neither a sitting VP nor a past VP has been nominated to the Supreme Court. But we can verify that, yes, it is possible for a sitting vice president to be nominated to the U.S. Supreme Court. With your Verify, I'm Adiande Till.
You're not going to believe those sweet, sweet deals that Steph showed Jeff earlier from our friends at Morning Save. Holidays are here, people. Check it out.
Always good to be back here, Steph. What do you have for us today?
Hey, Jeff, I've got some wonderful products and even better deals, and I can't wait to share them with you. So first up, we've got Heinvision Greets One Smart Video Doorbell. So this deal includes one doorbell with bracket, one chime, one USB cable, and tools to install it. And we've got it in black or white, so you can see, hear, and talk to visitors even when you're away from home. Plus, this is my favorite bit, there's no wiring needed to install this. Thank God, because there's no way would I be able to do that. And it gives you a really good peace of mind about who is at your door, meaning that you'll feel safer at home and when you're out and about on the go. Normally, it's $150, but right now, Jeff, we've got it for only $49, saving up to 67%.
Wow, Steph, this is one of my favorite deals, and we're just getting started. I have some of these at my house.
Yes.
It makes me have a nice peace of mind with my children there, knowing who's at that door.
Exactly, and also if you're out and about during the holidays and you're expecting Christmas gifts or packages to arrive, it's good to have an eye out on your front door because those porch pirates can be a nightmare. Now, Jeff, I have to tell you about this deal. We've got the RBX heated shiatsu massage pillow. So this deal includes one massage pillow, one wall power adapter, one car charger, and a 1-year warranty. So we all know that the holidays can be really stressful, and this is the best way to get rid of some of that holiday stress. So normally this is $90, but right now we've got it for $25, saving 72%.
You had me at massage, Steph.
Now, Jeff, we've got Tahari designer knit ponchos. So this deal includes one poncho, and we've got it in 3 different colors, black, tan, and navy, and it's available in one size that will fit most. With this product, you can have the best of both worlds because you'll never have to choose between looking cute or being comfortable. So normally these are $48, but right now they're only $19, saving our viewers 60%.
Steph, for $19, I think I could rock one of those. What do you think?
You know what? I wouldn't put it past you. I think you'd look really good, actually. All right, last but certainly not least, we've got Bo Nico 1-gallon Whisper Quiet ultrasonic humidifier. So this deal includes one humidifier, and you need to get it because we really need the moisture during these colder months, and this is going to give you the answer to that. It's got a control knob on the front that lets you easily control the desired output, and the best bit, it's whisper quiet, so you can still get a peaceful night's sleep or work undisturbed during the day. The LED night light provides a relaxing ambiance, and with the way that it's designed, you won't have any buildup of limescale, residue, or minerals, which is really important. And normally, this is as much as $110, Jeff, but we've got it just for DBL viewers for $59, which means they're saving 46%.
That's one of my favorite deals for sure. I have one of those in each room of my house because it gets so dry here, Steph.
Oh my gosh, being in Colorado, and also no matter where you are in the colder months, we all do get dry, our skin can feel really tight, and this is a really good way to stop that happening.
Thank you so much, Steph. Head on over to morningsave.com to snag these amazing deals at the lowest prices. You can even visit morningsave.com on your smartphone. Thank you so much, Steph. We'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
On November 26th, the World Health Organization announced a new highly mutated COVID-19 variant of concern, which they named Omicron. The WHO says the new variant was first reported to the organization by South Africa. The same day, the U.S. Department of State announced a travel ban for South Africa and several other neighboring countries. Since then, the term South Africa variant has been a popular search on Google to find information about the Omicron variant. The South African government has pushed back against claims that the variant originated in South Africa. So let's verify. Did the World Health Organization say the Omicron variant originated in South Africa? Our sources are the World Health Organization, the government of Botswana, and South Africa's Department of Health. The WHO said the Omicron variant of COVID-19 was first reported to the organization by South Africa on November 24th, based on a sample collected earlier that month. The governments of South Africa and Botswana later confirmed that cases of the Omicron variant have been detected in foreign visitors to Botswana on November 11th. Since then, multiple agencies have reported instances of the Omicron variant in their country, but its origins remain unknown. The delay between Omicron's earliest confirmed infection and the date it was first reported to the WHO by South Africa has to do with the process of sequencing the variant's genome and identifying its mutations. Now that scientists from South Africa have shared the variant's genome with global health officials, other countries are able to identify the variant with tests and in past samples of the virus. The Director General of the WHO says as of December 1st, at least 23 countries have reported cases of the Omicron variant so far. So we can verify, no. The World Health Organization did not say the Omicron variant originated in South Africa.
For as long as the COVID vaccine has been around, experts have urged wealthy countries like the U.S. to share their doses with poorer nations. And it's not just an act of charity. The World Health Organization says everyone will still be at risk for COVID so long as there are parts of the world that are largely unvaccinated. The virus is still spreading rapidly in some countries and mutating as it does. It may be how we ended up with Omicron. Scientists in South Africa say it has at least 30 mutations, more than we've seen with other variants. Experts at Duke University say Southern Africa has become a super incubator for new strains of COVID because countries there are struggling to get enough vaccines. So far, the U.S. has contributed the most doses to the global vaccine effort, pledging to donate 1.1 billion doses. Still, experts say that may not be enough. Moderna is mobilizing hundreds of workers to start researching the Omicron variant of COVID. They say if needed, a reformulated version of their vaccine could be ready for rollout in early 2022. That's a quick turnaround because researchers are no longer working from scratch. This vaccine would just be a modified version of the one they already have, tweaked to combat Omicron's specific mutations. And it's still not a guarantee we need a special shot at all. Researchers are still trying to figure out how effective our current vaccine is against this new variant. They say it's highly likely the vaccine already offers at least some protection from Omicron.
DBL is new every day. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place. We're so grateful you were here with us today. Be safe, y'all. Bye.
On social media, a lot of people are talking about a heart attack drug called tromethamine, making three big claims: that it was added to the kids' Pfizer doses, that it wasn't tested on kids in the clinical trial but was still authorized by the FDA, and that it was added to counteract heart problems caused by the vaccine itself. So let's verify step by step with the help of our sources, the FDA, Pfizer documents, and a trio of infectious disease experts. Let's start with that first claim. Is tromethamine in the children's Pfizer vaccine? That's verified.
The new formulation contains tromethamine, which is known as Tris buffer.
Buffers are added to help maintain a vaccine's pH level, which allows the vaccine to last longer. Which brings us to the second claim, and that's also verified by Pfizer itself. Our experts say that they switched from phosphate buffered saline, or PBS, to Tris because it has a longer shelf life. And we should note that it's already in many vaccines.
PBS is just saline and water. Tris buffer adds another feature in terms of it being protective of the mRNA molecule.
So yes, they tested one buffer and authorized another, but our experts are not too concerned.
We have done this for other products and other vaccines where we've made tiny modifications to the formulation to make them more stable.
Which brings us to our third and final claim. Trimethoprim is also a drug prescribed to heart attack patients, so some claim online that it's being added to the vaccine to counteract heart-related side effects from the vaccine. Our sources say this is false.
This tiny amount of trimethoprim that is put into these vaccine bottles, that is to stabilize the pH of the bottle. It doesn't have anything to do with the pH of the person that vaccine is going into.
Here's what we're talking about today on Daily Blast Live.
Alec Baldwin claims he did not pull the trigger on the set of Rust, insisting the gun fired on its own. Is his tearful story believable?
How do you come to terms with that?
More details come out in the Michigan school shooting. A former congresswoman and gun violence survivor weighs in on how this could have been prevented. He lost his home, his career, and his kids overnight. This Emmy-nominated actor joins us live to tell us how divorce changed everything. And Sheryl Lee Ralph is also here live, how her new sitcom is tackling serious issues while making us laugh.
Oh my gosh.
Are you insane? This is a sham.
No. Nope. Y'all, just stop.
Finally here, drum roll. Welcome to DBL. It's Thursday, December 2nd. I am Tori, and I'm in for Sam, and I'm here with my good friends Erica and Al.
Hey, we missed you.
I missed you too.
Yeah.
It was lovely to be home. Just so you know when you go home and you smell that the home cooking smell, the onions and the garlic. That's what I smell.
All right.
Well, you did Thanksgiving, Hanukkah.
And Hanukkah. A lot of latkes, a lot of oil. A lot of good food.
I love it.
I gained 10 pounds. All right, let's start with Alec Baldwin, y'all. He's speaking out about the shooting on the set of his movie Rust that, if you remember, killed cinematographer Helena Hutchins. So Alec is now claiming he did not pull the trigger. So that contradicts witness statements on what Baldwin originally told officers. Let's take a look.
Well, the trigger wasn't pulled. I didn't pull the trigger.
So you never pulled the trigger?
No. I would never point a gun at anyone and pull a trigger at them, never. Someone put a live bullet in a gun, a bullet that wasn't even supposed to be on the property.
So now the Santa Fe sheriff is hitting back right now at Baldwin's story, telling Fox News that, quote, guns don't just go off. So whatever needs to happen to manipulate the firearm.
Are we sure that's true?
I know. Baldwin did that, and it was in his hands. Now, I realize this is a strategy. We're now talking about the very semantics of who did what instead of the main picture, which is a defense strategy. But does it matter if he pulled the trigger or if he didn't? And do you believe him? Because he told the cops he fired the gun, but he didn't pull the trigger. He never said he pulled the trigger.
I believe it matters, but the question is, what does it matter for?
Right.
Does it matter in terms of the responsibility, the culpability? Does it matter in terms of the insurance?
Right.
Like there's a reason why it matters.
Right.
And that's what my question is what is the end game? Because obviously no one or most people don't believe that Alec Baldwin intentionally set out to murder Helena Hutchins.
Right.
So by him getting in front of this in this way, is it because this is going to be a very long, drawn-out process and he wants to clear the air on his end? And why? That's really the question.
Which is a good point. Do you think it worked? Meaning, to me, it felt a little, and I don't know about you guys, write me in, but a little like publicists set up the music, the posture, the crying. It felt a little like an SNL sketch, to be honest.
Well, the crying may be real. I mean, somebody that he knew is dead.
Right.
So, I'm going to give him that. What I will say about this is, Erica, you just made me think about something when you said, why does it matter? I was like, well, why does it matter? It's probably because we're talking about millions of dollars of insurance money and who's going to pay that and who's going to receive that. And until you figure out and have a dead to rights, no pun intended, this is the guilty party, and this is the person that was negligent, and this is why they are going to pay, whether it be the production studio, whether it be Alec Baldwin himself, or whoever, whatever subsidiary that this is all under. Like, I think that's where we're going with this, but it seems like for the public, for our consumption, it seems like it's more focused around his celebrity. But I think really this is going to be more boring black and white paper in terms of just like who gets paid and who doesn't.
Yeah, and how did that live round got there? They did say that right after it went off, someone shook the cartridge box and some didn't rattle, and a rattle tells you it's a dummy round. And so now they're looking into, did they get live rounds mixed in with dummy rounds, and maybe that also has culpability issues as well.
Well, yeah, this is what happens.
And one of the first stories that was reported was that they were using those same guns to go out plinking or whatever, basically shooting
Shoot
cans.
the cans, right.
So based on that story, if that is correct or not, we know how the live rounds would have been somewhere in the vicinity.
On the property, right. And they also did say that guns discharged and had malfunctions with live rounds. That's when some people have walked off the set. They said there was a discharge on a gun 2 times. So
yeah, I feel like we're just zooming in on 1 or 2 parts of the story, but I think there's an overall arching issue of negligence here, whether it be the COVID issue, whether it be the lodging issue. They were staying
the bullets,
hours
the
away.
Armor, right.
It just seems like this is a fundamental breakdown of procedure, and this is what happens when because I'm sure that it's much more expensive to deal with a union.
Yeah.
You know, and they're like, oh, he's a union guy, she's a union woman. They're more expensive. But the reason they are is because they do things a certain way. When you go non-union, it will be cheaper. And 9 times out of 10, it will probably be okay.
Right.
But this is what we're talking about when you have people that are doing jobs that they're kind of right for, but not all the way, especially when you're talking about guns or a stunt driver or anything like that. These are people's life or death, and this is what happens.
Yeah.
This isn't just to slow things down. This is people's lives, and somebody's mom is gone because of this. Somebody's wife is gone because of this.
Let's not forget about Helena Hutchins and all this.
Absolutely.
I appreciate that, Al. All right, coming up on DBL, as we learn more about the Michigan school shooting, we're joined by a gun violence survivor and former congresswoman to break down what has been done to stop them. Stay tuned, y'all.
Closed captioning provided by
The whole thing fell.
All right.
Yeah, that's true.
A lot of gun talk today. I'm sure we're going to be prepped for this interview. Megan?
Well, you guys have a B block first, but then I'm C block.
So I actually do want to talk about B.
Yeah.
With Michael Dean here.
Yeah. And I went over this with them already, but you guys see these extra little bits after the third question? Hopefully.
Okay. So what we know about this woman who's joining us, she's with Giffords.
Yeah.
Gifford Foundation, so she's very much into gun control and all that. And I know you all probably are too, but I would like to offer up, as we're talking to her, what the other side says. So you can say, I know some on the other side would say to this.
Absolutely.
So a little devil's advocate with her so that we can have a bit of a debate, even though I know you're probably on her side. But
Right. But I mean, gun control is like, I don't even know if it's devil's advocate. It's half the country, if not more.
Well, two-thirds of Americans support gun control legislation.
Right.
You know, and she'll make that point. So.
1/3 is noisy. Yeah, it's I'm really. It just shows you how popular marijuana was in terms of getting it on the ballot and passed. Because I don't know if we can get anything. I don't know if we can get seatbelts passed now. Right. I think there would be so many governors that would like sit down like. You can't move.
Obviously, there's no helmet law in Colorado.
There's no helmet. A lot of places don't have helmet laws.
I'm surprised by that. I see people all the time riding without helmets, and I'm surprised by it because I thought that was national.
I'm surprised by seeing people holding their phones in their car.
Is that a law here?
No, it's not. But in California, you definitely can't.
Yeah,
oh, you get a ticket.
Drives free. You have to do it hands free.
I got pulled over in LA for holding my phone.
I got a ticket.
8 years ago. It was like kind of new.
But that's the California
and I was like,
thing.
what is the I didn't know why I was getting pulled over.
Welcome back to DBL, everyone. We have an update on the school shooting in Michigan that we've been following. 4 students died in the attack on Tuesday, and the suspect has been charged as an adult with 1 count of terrorism and 4 counts of first-degree murder. And get this, police say the suspect recorded videos on his phone the night before the attack in which he talked about shooting and killing students. We're also learning his parents came to the school hours before to meet with him and his teachers to discuss his behavioral issues. For more on this issue and the issue of gun violence in our schools, we're joined by former Congresswoman Debbie Mucarsel-Powell. She's also a senior advocate at Giffords, a gun control advocacy group. Welcome, Debbie. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Now, you are, in fact, a survivor of gun violence. Your father died in 1996 from gunshot wounds. So based on your experience, what are these 4 families in Michigan going through right now?
Listen, like you said, this is a personal issue for me that I've been fighting to correct here in this country for many years. And I can tell you that as a mom, this is every parent's worst nightmare. I worry about sending my children to school, and I've spoken to so many parents that lost their children at the Parkland shooting here in Florida, parents that lose their kids from drive-by shootings. We are losing too many children to this gun violence epidemic. My heart breaks for those families, and this is a preventable event.
Yes.
We have measures that we can institute right away to prevent the next school shooting. Schools are a place for children to learn. They should feel safe. Parents should feel safe sending their children to school. We should not have active shooter drills. We should not be anxious when we hear of school lockdowns. We've been experiencing at a high rate in the past few years here in this country. So let me just say that pain and that trauma leaves families broken and communities as well for many years after that pain.
I echo that sentiment. We should not be experiencing this as families, as a nation, in what should be our safest places, right? But this was the deadliest school shooting in America this year. So in your opinion, what needs to happen to stop gun violence?
We do know that not one measure is going to stop every gun violence event, but there are different things that we can do. We could pass the universal background check bill, which just today, just to tell you, I just found out that Republicans in the Senate went to the Senate floor to block passing a universal background check bill, which most Americans agree, Republicans, Democrats, Independents, that we need to act and prevent people that shouldn't have a gun from purchasing a weapon. If parents have a weapon at home, we can pass laws that provide for a safety measure so that they can have safe storage laws in their states. We also need to raise the minimum age for children who can purchase a weapon from 18 to 21. There are many things that we can do, but we cannot continue to turn our heads and ignore this crisis that we have. It's a national crisis, and we can't continue to see children dying from gun violence.
It's a national crisis and it's a personal crisis. I mean, I lost a good friend of mine to gun violence years ago before this was kind of on everybody's lips. And, so this is very personal to me. But, we have a lot of viewers here and they need to be spoken for, too. And a lot of them are saying that, I disagree with you. I don't think that this is a gun problem. This is more of a mental health problem. So this is your chance to talk right to that viewer. What would you say to them that says that this is a mental health problem and not a gun problem?
The United States has similar rates of mental illness than most other comparable nations, yet we have much higher rates of gun violence. Guns are meant to kill. If we have a 15-year-old that is meant to cause harm and he's able to get a weapon, whether from his father or from gun trafficking, which we've also seen in this country, he will kill many more people than if he's not able to get that weapon. That is why we have to pass gun safety measures. We have laws that can stop people from purchasing a weapon when they're meant to harm. This is not political. This is about safety. We are the only country in the world that experiences the rate of mass shootings that we see, particularly losing children to this epidemic. 91% of children, listen to this statistic, 91% of children who are killed to gun violence are killed here in the United States. Wow. This has to stop. And I don't want anyone to think that because someone is suffering from mental illness, they're going to go and get a weapon and kill. It's not that simple. It's the easy access to getting a weapon that is the problem that we have here in America.
I think that's what we hear from our viewers a lot is that, they're worried about that these gun control laws do not deter crime, more that they're going to deter the good guys with the guns and only leave the bad guys with the guns. What would you say to that?
Look, we know, and we've seen much data that shows that more guns in the streets create more violence. When you have any sort of event, when there are weapons involved, it can escalate very quickly, and it can then in turn out to have homicide rates that are higher than in other places that we've seen when guns are not involved. So it's a false equivalency. It's misinformation, to tell you the truth. I think that this is a message that has been used by the NRA and the gun lobby for many, many years. And to tell you the truth, what we need is gun laws that are going to protect our families and our communities. Again, most Americans agree. A basic universal background check. If you have a violent record, you should not be able to purchase a weapon. If you don't have a license to sell arms, you should not be able to sell arms at gun shows. There are many things that we need, loopholes that we need to close in the law. And there's a way to do that. Yes. And we are seeing that senators who are beholden to the gun lobby are not acting. That has to stop. I don't think that Americans want to continue to wake up to the news of yet another tragedy like the one that we just saw in Michigan.
You're absolutely right. Debbie, thank you so much for being here. I have to say, your father would be very proud of you. We'll be right back. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Swirling online about President Joe Biden potentially nominating Vice President Kamala Harris to the Supreme Court. Those rumors were reported in an article published by CNN. The article says, quote, that chatter has already reached the top levels of the Biden orbit, according to one person who's heard it, unquote. In the days after the CNN report was published, there were thousands of mentions of Kamala Harris and Supreme Court across Facebook and Twitter, according to CrowdTangle, a public insights company owned by Facebook. Verify has not been able to confirm whether that claim is true, but we can answer if it's possible. So let's verify. Can a sitting vice president be nominated to the U.S. Supreme Court? Our sources are the U.S. Constitution, records from the U.S. Senate and House of Representatives, and 2 constitutional law experts. There are few restrictions on who can become a Supreme Court justice. The Constitution lists no age or citizenship restrictions, and you don't even have to practice law or even have a law degree. The only restriction for being nominated to the Supreme Court is an impeachment or a conviction that bars you from any federal office. In an email to Verify, Erwin Chemerinsky, dean of Berkeley Law School, said, quote, I do not see any impediment to a sitting vice president being nominated for the Supreme Court, unquote. Jeffrey Stone, law professor at the University of Chicago, added that if a sitting VP were confirmed to the Supreme Court, they would have to resign as vice president. According to records from the U.S. House and Senate, neither a sitting VP nor a past VP has been nominated to the Supreme Court. But we can verify that, yes, it is possible for a sitting vice president to be nominated to the U.S. Supreme Court. With your Verify, I'm Ariande Till.
He is an Emmy-nominated actor who lost his home, his career, and his kids overnight because of divorce. And that's why he's written a book with hopes of telling his truth and helping others. Please welcome to the show, Greg Ellis. Welcome, Greg. Thank you for being here.
Hey, Greg.
Thank you very much for having me. It's great to be on.
Absolutely. Now, before we get into the night your life was literally turned upside down, tell us what your life was like before that evening. Paint us a picture.
20 years married, happily, living the American dream. Beautiful home, member of the country club, kids in an exclusive elite private school. And I was flying around the world on location filming and had a great career. So life was pretty wonderful.
Wow, pretty sunny.
So Greg, you've said that a 10-word lie ruined your life. What was the lie and what happened after it was said?
Well, yeah, it was March 5th, 2015. And in the span of 8 hours on that day, I was ushered from my home in handcuffs. At the behest, I later discovered, of my ex-wife, imprisoned, the first of 5 incarcerations, subjected to a temporary restraining order, became homeless, almost destitute overnight, and watched helplessly as my professional reputation was irretrievably destroyed, and my sons lost their loving, present father for half their childhoods.
Wow.
And in crossing that legal Rubicon from citizen to respondent, which is the name given to the defendant in a family law or divorce court proceeding, I migrated from a world of presumed innocence, earned privilege, and respected privacy to one of assumed guilt and immediate and ruthless judgment. And when I discovered that family law is the only branch of our legal system where there's no presumption of innocence, that means that murderers, rapists, terrorists, pedophiles all get more legal rights than law-abiding citizens. I started to wonder why we have this meaning crisis, why we have this dad deprivation crisis, why America is the world leader in children growing up in single-parent households. And to Debbie's point, I believe the gravest indicator at the root of America's torn familial tapestry is marriage and family breakdown. Social ills and public policy stem from the health and well-being of relationships and family formation. And we have to be asking that question: why is there such a meaning crisis? Why are there so many shooters who come from dad-deprived homes? And why are we not speaking about the causality and correlation with young males, gun violence, and our dad deprivation crisis? This is a national health emergency, maybe even global, that nobody's talking about. And family law is really at the core of this. And we must do a better job protecting the most vulnerable among us.
So, Greg, what were the 10 words that put you into this tailspin?
Yeah, there was a call that went to law enforcement from my ex-wife, and she asked them to come to the house and said that I was confused. They said, "We can't come to the house if he's confused." And she said, "What do you need to hear?" And they said, "We need to hear he's a threat to himself or the children." And the 10 words were, "I'm sick of this S word. I'm gonna harm the children." And those 10 words basically ruined my life. And welcome to family law.
Wow. Wow. All right. You haven't seen your sons in a couple years now, Greg. If you have the floor, you have this platform, what do you want them to know?
Well, yeah. Oh, that's a.
I know that's a big question.
It's painful to talk about.
Yeah.
I can't imagine.
Yeah. I just refer to the book, really. I write, one of my final chapters in the book is called A Funeral for My Sons. And in order to live through the living grief, as I talk about it, I talk with parents through my charity foundation, CPU, Children and Parents United, about the suicide by living grief, the lack of finality and closure. I didn't want to write my book. I had to. That final chapter was really, it was a ritual funeral ceremony that I had to enact myself to lay to rest the living grief of being suddenly and shockingly and catastrophically separated from my 2 boys, who were the meaning of my life. And I wrote the book to make sense as well of the government-sponsored devastation of my life and destruction of my family. It was part of my sense-making therapy and recovery. I wrote it to ring the alarm bell about a broken system and call for social change and family law reform, because this is happening and has been happening for decades to tens of thousands of parents and children across America. But more than anything, I wrote it to let my children know that I haven't and hadn't and never would abandon them, and my door is wide open. I love them so much. They were my everything.
Wow.
They were and are my everything.
Wow.
So now I dedicate my time and my mission to helping other children and parents navigate this horrifically unfair divorce system that we have in America.
Wow.
And call for social change and bring about policies and educate people. I just want to give a quick shout out to Representative Creech and his colleagues in Ohio who are pushing through the Equal Shared Parenting Bill that's going to save thousands of children and parents' lives,
amazing.
literally.
That's
and
amazing.
I don't say that lightly.
Thank you so much.
So there's many great local heroes across America doing great work.
Thank you for that. To our DBL Nation, visit Greg's website, therespondent.com. You can also purchase his book or soon-to-be released audiobook. You can also learn about his nonprofit aimed at helping families through divorce. Greg, thank you again for being here and for your courage. We'll be right back. Thank you.
Thanks to all of you. Be well.
Absolutely. You too.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
On November 26, the World Health Organization announced a new, highly mutated COVID-19 variant of concern, which they named Omicron. The WHO says the new variant was first reported to the organization by South Africa. The same day, the U.S. Department of State announced a travel ban for South Africa and several other neighboring countries. Since then, the term South Africa variant has been a popular search on Google to find information about the Omicron variant. The South African government has pushed back against claims that the variant originated in South Africa. So let's verify. Did the World Health Organization say the Omicron variant originated in South Africa? Our sources are the World Health Organization, the government of Botswana, and South Africa's Department of Health. The WHO said the Omicron variant of COVID-19 was first reported to the organization by South Africa on November 24th, based on a sample collected earlier that month. The governments of South Africa and Botswana later confirmed that cases of the Omicron variant have been detected in foreign visitors to Botswana on November 11th. Since then, multiple agencies have reported instances of the Omicron variant in their country, but its origins remain unknown. The delay between Omicron's earliest confirmed infection and the date it was first reported to the WHO by South Africa has to do with the process of sequencing the variant's genome and identifying its mutations. Now that scientists from South Africa have shared the variant's genome with global health officials, other countries are able to identify the variant with tests and in past samples of the virus. The Director General of the WHO says as of December 1st, at least 23 countries have reported cases of the Omicron variant so far. So we can verify, no. The World Health Organization did not say the Omicron variant originated in South Africa.
For as long as the COVID vaccine has been around, experts have urged wealthy countries like the U.S. to share their doses with poorer nations. And it's not just an act of charity. The World Health Organization says everyone will still be at risk for COVID so long as there are parts of the world that are largely unvaccinated. The virus is still spreading rapidly in some countries and mutating as it does. It may be how we ended up with Omicron. Scientists in South Africa say it has at least 30 mutations, more than we've seen with other variants. Experts at Duke University say Southern Africa has become a super incubator for new strains of COVID because countries there are struggling to get enough vaccines. So far, the U.S. has contributed the most doses to the global vaccine effort, pledging to donate 1.1 billion doses. Still, experts say that may not be enough. Moderna is mobilizing hundreds of workers to start researching the Omicron variant of COVID. They say if needed, a reformulated version of their vaccine could be ready for rollout in early 2022. That's a quick turnaround because researchers are no longer working from scratch. This vaccine would just be a modified version of the one they already have, tweaked to combat Omicron's specific mutations. And it's still not a guarantee we need a special shot at all. Researchers are still trying to figure out how effective our current vaccine is against this new variant. They say it's highly likely the vaccine already offers at least some protection from Omicron.
If you're leaving us, you can watch the second half of the show online. Watch on YouTube, dailyblastlive.com, or our DBL mobile app. But if you're sticking around, you're much cooler. Here's what's coming up. Will Jussie Smollett's defense hold up? The testimony that claims he instructed the brothers on how to fake a fight. And Tom Brady wants his son to follow in his footsteps. But is it too much pressure?
On social media, a lot of people are talking about a heart attack drug called tromethamine, making three big claims: that it was added to the kids' Pfizer doses, that it wasn't tested on kids in the clinical trial but was still authorized by the FDA, and that it was added to counteract heart problems caused by the vaccine itself. So let's verify step by step with the help of our sources: the FDA, Pfizer documents, and a trio of infectious disease experts. Let's start with that first claim. Is tromethamine in the children's Pfizer vaccine? That's verified.
The new formulation contains tromethamine, which is known as Tris, a buffer.
Buffers are added to help maintain a vaccine's pH level, which allows the vaccine to last longer. Which brings us to the second claim, and that's also verified by Pfizer itself. Our experts say that they switched from phosphate buffered saline, or PBS, to Tris because it has a longer shelf life. And we should note that it's already in many vaccines.
PBS is just saline and water. Tris buffer adds another feature in terms of it being protective of the mRNA molecule.
So yes, they tested one buffer and authorized another, but our experts are not too concerned.
We have done this for other products and other vaccines where we've made tiny modifications to the formulation to make them more stable.
Which brings us to our third and final claim. Tromethamine is also a drug prescribed to heart attack patients, so some claim online that it's being added to the vaccine to counteract heart-related side effects from the vaccine. Our sources say this is false.
This tiny amount of tromethamine that is put into these vaccine bottles, that is to stabilize the pH of the bottle. It doesn't have anything to do with the pH of the person that vaccine is going into.
This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Oh my gosh.
Are you insane? This is a sham.
No. Y'all just stop.
Finally here. Drum roll. Welcome to Daily Blast Live, y'all. I'm Tori, and I'm in for Sam. I'm here with Al and Erica, and we are finally hearing from one of the Nigerian brothers at the Jussie Smollett trial. Now, if you don't remember, or you live under a rock, Jussie is accused of staging a homophobic and racist attack on himself back in January 2019. So yesterday, though, one of the men involved in that attack, Abel Daro, told the court that Jussie told him to punch him, but not too hard, just enough to give him a bruise. He agreed to go along with the hoax in hopes Jussie would help him out with his acting career. He also said Jussie wanted another man involved, so he roped his brother into the scheme. Now, as we are discussing this, the cross-examination is going after him right now, and they are suggesting or implying that Abel did this because he wanted a relationship with Jussie, and he is trying to say that's not true, but they're going for a motive in another way of trying to give us a distraction. Do we believe the brother? Do we believe Jussie? And can Jussie come back? I don't believe Jussie. I'll be very open about that. Do you believe Jussie?
I don't. You know, I always say this, I'm a big daytime TV fan before I started doing it, and I love Judge Judy, and Judge Judy always said if something doesn't make sense, it means it's not true.
Yeah.
And a lot of the things in this case do not make sense, Erica. And I remember when we were covering this story, like pre-pandemic, seems like a million years ago.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, I didn't say anything at the time because at this time, it was, you want to believe. You believe. And I remember we did the story where he did a concert that week. That weekend he sang. And I have buddies of mine that play D1 football. Your brother played pro football. Cracked ribs, which is what he claimed one of his injuries were.
Hard to sing, isn't it?
It's hard to breathe.
Yeah.
You can't sleep, much less hold a note, much less laugh. So I thought that was, or sneeze. So I remember sitting in that chair being like, that's weird, but I didn't want to come out because that was all I just was like, sus. That's weird. That's a little sus. What'd you think?
You know, gosh, I mean, I'm trying to make sense out of this story, right? Because it defies logic. But I think of it like this. Apparently, the motive that they're saying they're going with was that Jussie was feeling like his security concerns by getting like threatening mail or hate mail to the studio for which he worked wasn't being addressed adequately.
Correct.
And I think that taking this out, most people at some point in their lives have felt in their careers that they aren't seen, they aren't heard, and they're not protected, even though they're giving their best and their lives to this company.
True.
But we don't remedy the situation by doing this, what I like to call like, see, I got you, I told you so. Like, that's how this feels to me.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this could have happened. Let's see what happens when it happens.
Right.
And that's where the whole thing goes AWOL. It goes completely awry, because had he just, and this is the thing I always look at when I think about criminal minds, like when people do things, I'm like, if you would have just gone through the proper channels.
I know.
It may not have felt good to you. It may have felt even worse to have like insult into injury if they did nothing about it. But at least you explored the channels that were there legally.
Right, and you didn't lose the reputation in the meantime.
Exactly.
Yeah, I just don't see.
Maybe it cost them the show. The show went off the air.
Oh, yeah, it cost everybody.
I mean, it's
and doubling down. It's just, I just think it's gotten worse and worse. I agree. Let us know what you guys think. If you believe, if you don't, we'd love to hear from you. Let's move over to the old football.
That's how people used to throw in the 1930s. It was very old school, but I like it. There we go.
Down the line. There we go. Tom Brady is revealing what his wife Gisele Bündchen thinks about his son following in Tom's footsteps. On a recent podcast, Tom talked about watching his alma mater, the greatest university of all, the University of Michigan. Hail to the victors valiant. That's my alma mater. Thank you. Beat Ohio State.
Why is that relevant to the story?
Very. That's the biggest part of the story.
Whoever did the prompter, that was very negligent.
Very part of the story. Yep, very. With his oldest son, Jack, have a listen to what he said.
I had a little future Wolverine, my son Jack, sitting on the bed with me as I was jumping around, and we were wrestling on the bed. And I said, that's where you're going to be. You're going to be in the big house someday. You're going to be the starting quarterback for Michigan. And my wife was like, just let him be what he wants to be, for God's sakes.
Imagine if Gisele had a daughter and was like, you're going to be a supermodel like me. Like, that's setting the kid up to never be enough.
Yeah.
You're going to tell Tom Brady's son you're going to go to Michigan like me and try and beat me. The odds of that happening are incredibly rare. Incredibly rare.
One of the things I thought about for my personal situation is, my dad has our family funeral home.
Right.
And none of us are in that industry. And I know it's very disappointing to him.
It is.
That none of his children will take over his legacy.
Has he said that to you guys? Has he been open about that?
It's a very open thing.
Oh, wow. He's very upset.
Very open.
And your dad doesn't seem like he works in the world of nuance a lot.
Yeah, for a while I felt some type of way, like, well, maybe I could. And I'm like, that's not what I meant to do. So I think a lot of people have been put in this situation for one reason or another, and a lot of people will just follow suit because you don't want to disappoint your parents or end the legacy. But how long will the legacy, honestly, if I took over a funeral home tomorrow, how long would that last?
It would be a really glamorous funeral.
How long?
It really would be. It'd be fabulous.
It would be fabulous.
Is that a red bottom casket?
She looks amazing. Yeah. Is that Louboutin? No, that's incredible. But what do you think about your sons following in? Like, Elijah's interested in acting and stuff. Would you want him to go into that?
He came to it naturally.
I see.
And I think that you almost put handcuffs on your kid when you tell them that you want, even just saying it, not forcing them, but just saying, I want you to follow your old dad. Well, your kids look at you like you're the son. So whatever you say to them is going to resonate more than just like, oh, well, they knew they could have done something else. They don't know that.
They don't know that.
They think if I do anything else, that my dad or my mom is going to be disappointed in me. And that's why, as we're sitting here, we probably have people in professions that are good at it, but would rather be doing something else.
Miserable.
You would be great at running a funeral home. You're organized, you're good with people, but look at you on this job. I'm sure your dad looks at you like, I'm glad she didn't listen.
Yeah.
So it's just, but it's hard.
Yeah,
it's hard,
It's letting your child find their own path when it's not your path to go down. Yeah. That's a hard thing to vicariously not do. All right, coming up on DBL.
And that was quite a sentence to end it.
I think it was way
vicariously not do.
Well said, Tori, dramatically. Sheryl Lee Ralph is here. Doesn't matter. She's here live.
Yes.
She's telling us all about her new sitcom that sheds light on some serious topics. We love you, Miss Sheryl.
We need her to.
But before we go to break, Dave Grohl is honoring Jewish singers for 8 days of Hanukkah. Here's his cover of Barry Manilow's Copacabana. You're welcome. Take a look.
Copacabana, the hottest spot north of Havana. At the Copacabana.
Closed captioning provided by
We just want to break with Dave
this
Grohl,
question.
leader of
I'm
the,
so excited for that.
She goes in on the
lead singer of the Foo Fighters.
And then the last question
I didn't know
about her
like
age
what a
activity.
really just prophetic
Yeah, so it's like
musician
she
he
has
is, and he just
really
seems like a cool guy.
really good about,
He's got that kind of career that I think everybody wants because he's a
Preventive.
rock star.
Preventative
Dave
stigma.
Grohl.
Okay,
Sorry.
that's I love
Dave,
it.
Yeah, I don't know him.
The leader of the Foo Fighters, you don't know?
I know who he is, but
Yeah.
I don't know anything about.
Right,
With
but
it.
I would
So
just say
when did they get
he's
into
got that
second
kind of
question?
celebrity.
Great.
That
you. And if
almost
we've
I kind of
asked,
want
I'll
with
say,
like Tom Hanks,
maybe- I
where
don't think we'll have
you're super famous,
Yeah.
but you're still kind of like
I don't
right
think we will
underneath the
have
radar.
that
Because I wouldn't
Okay,
want
good.
that like
Thanks so much.
flash bulbs. You go to a restaurant and it's crazy all the time, like probably how Kim Kardashian. I want that like low key can put a baseball hat on, but also like you could have like the celebrity along with it and your talent and
how do
your
you want to
fans.
ask
So I don't
you
know
want
if that
to
makes any
comment?
sense,
Please feel
but
free.
I would love to be famous, but I don't want to be can't go to a restaurant or like
Okay, thanks, honey.
would cause a riot at the mall famous. That doesn't seem fun. You know, like the kind of famous where you gotta like
Yeah, no,
you gotta go to Disney World when it's closed.
Yeah.
You
If
know,
that happens,
like
have
I don't.
Erica ask it.
No.
Thank you, Anthony.
And I'm a more of a fortune over fame person, and not even like fortune in terms of like billions of dollars. Just
That's
like
such
you know,
a good question.
don't have to think about money type money.
Comfy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're real comfy.
I would take that over people knowing who I am.
Yeah, I think a lot of people do. They're called producers, executive, the people behind the camera. Where you go, oh, who's the person who's the lead on whatever show? They would love to be the EP because they're the person that cuts the check. So I don't know. I'd be down with that. Tori, how famous do you want to be?
How famous?
Yes. Do you want
my fame is Joan Cusack famous, where you see her and you're always like, oh, I love her. I'm so glad she's in this movie. But no paparazzi is following her around. That's the type of famous I want to be. You know we're in Target.
Cheesesteak.
This is a classroom, not a hoagie stand.
We had it on the board.
This diva star power not only lights up a room, it also shines bright on Broadway stages and on Hollywood sets. Ladies and gentlemen, Sheryl Lee Ralph joins us.
Yes.
Hello,
Yes.
Sheryl. Now, we are told you heard a little bit of our last block, which we love when our guests listen. We were talking about Jussie Smollett. In your opinion, can he have a comeback? Talk to us.
Wait a minute. Did you ask me, could he have a comeback after what he did? Of course he can. Are you kidding me? This is America. We have had people who just recently might have broken the whole country, and they're talking about running again and might win. So can Jussie Smollett have a comeback? Yes, he can. And it's very hard because I have to be upfront. I love Jussie. I've known him since he was a child. Did he make a very bad mistake? Yes, he did. But when it comes to entertainment and capitalism in America, can he have a comeback? Yes, he absolutely can.
Well said.
Yeah,
Well,
he
Miss
can.
Sheryl,
This is showbiz, baby.
I just have to say that my mantra is everyone's deserving of the comeback that they're willing to earn. So it's not a matter of if. A lot of times it's just a matter of when.
I love this. Very smart.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That part.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right, I can't wait to ask you this question. I've been dying to ask you. Dr. Oz. That Dr. Oz is running for Senate, Miss Sheryl, in your state of Pennsylvania, where your husband is a state senator. Does Dr. Oz have what it takes? Miss Sheryl, you have the floor.
I've got to tell you something. There's so many things that I want to say, but I have always been taught that inner thoughts need not be outer thoughts, especially when you want to say things like carpetbagger. Everybody wants to think that they can just up and be a politician. My husband, Senator Vincent Hughes of Pennsylvania, works 28 hours a day. He works 9 days a week. He must always be available to the people. He must always be thinking about how to move not just his community, but his state, his city as part of these United States. And a lot of people are just out there ego tripping, and I wish it would stop, because it was ego trips that have gotten us to the state where we are, where so many people in our country don't even know what right from wrong is anymore. And I think Dr. Oz is making a wrong move.
Well said. Now we're going to get to some good things. Your show, Abbott Elementary, which also my girl Janelle James is on that show right there. My friend Janelle, I've known her since she started her career. She's an incredible person and a good friend of mine. So it's so cool to see two people I love working together.
That's lovely.
And I really do believe that Janelle is a breakout in this show. She's just so uniquely talented, and it's wonderful working with her. And Abbott Elementary has been a blessing to me, and I believe that this show has the possibility of turning into America's new favorite comedy. It just has so many wonderful things to say, and the way we have the ability to tackle the seriousness with comedy is just wonderful.
Wow.
Well, and I understand that this is really like art imitating reality in some form, because you come from a family of educators. Who in your family is most like your character?
Oh my gosh. You know what? I would really have to say in so many ways, I am playing my Auntie Carolyn. My Auntie Carolyn was the teacher that nobody ever forgot. And still people would say, aren't you Miss Preston's niece? And I'm just like, yes, I am. They're like, I went to Bunker Hill. She changed that school. She changed my life. And there are moments in the show, because I play Mrs. Howard, was loosely based on Quinta's mother, who was a 40-year teacher in the Philadelphia School District. And she is also that teacher that the students didn't forget. She might have been tough on you, but she was tough on you because she saw the possibilities in you, and she loved you enough to get you to pass kindergarten with flying A's.
Amen. I think we all know a teacher right now that has pushed us to be where we are. I do have to ask this. You've been an activist since the AIDS epidemic began 40 years ago. I wanted to ask you what we should learn and apply about what we've learned from AIDS and the stigma and testing to the current coronavirus pandemic.
Thank you for that question.
Yeah.
It has been 40 years of AIDS in America, and in my fight, I learned back in the day, people didn't want to get tested for the virus. And when they did get tested, they didn't go back for their results. When you'd have conversations about what is the barrier to passing the disease, the use of condoms, people didn't want to use condoms like they don't want to wear masks now. We didn't have a vaccine back then. Now we have the golden opportunity of a vaccine against corona. People don't want to take it. When people don't take it, it allows the virus to mutate, putting us all the way back at zero. And I wish people would pay attention and learn from the past, because there's a great saying, if you don't remember the past, you are destined to repeat it. And I see us repeating it now. We've had so many variants from Delta to Omicron now. If people would listen to the science, remember, protect yourself. Wear your mask. Get the vaccine. Get the booster too. Why get the booster? Because the vaccine that you had a few months ago might be strong on the variant of a few months ago.
Stay updated.
You need the booster now because you've got Omicron, because you were slow about getting vaccinated in the first place. And
wise
now
words.
You need the booster.
There you go. Wise words from a wise woman. Just do it. Thank you so much for joining us, Miss Sheryl.
We needed you today.
We did need you today.
Me.
We really did. DBL Nation, Abbott Elementary premieres Tuesday night on ABC. Also visits divasimplysinging.com to support the Diva Foundation. One of our favorite guests of all time,
She's
Miss Sheryl
family.
Lee Ralph.
No longer
she is family.
a guest. You're family. We love you, girl.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Your insurance.
Swirling online about President Joe Biden potentially nominating Vice President Kamala Harris to the Supreme Court. Those rumors were reported in an article published by CNN. The article says, quote, that chatter has already reached the top levels of the Biden orbit, according to one person who's heard it, unquote. In the days after the CNN report was published, there were thousands of mentions of Kamala Harris and Supreme Court across Facebook and Twitter, according to CrowdTangle, a public insights company owned by Facebook. Verify has not been able to confirm whether that claim is true, but we can answer if it's possible. So let's verify. Can a sitting vice president be nominated to the U.S. Supreme Court? Our sources are the U.S. Constitution, records from the U.S. Senate and House of Representatives, and 2 constitutional law experts. There are few restrictions on who can become a Supreme Court justice. The Constitution lists no age or citizenship restrictions, and you don't even have to practice law or even have a law degree. The only restriction for being nominated to the Supreme Court is an impeachment or a conviction that bars you from any federal office. In an email to Verify, Erwin Chemerinsky, dean of Berkeley Law School, said, quote, I do not see any impediment to a sitting vice president being nominated for the Supreme Court, unquote. Jeffrey Stone, law professor at the University of Chicago, added that if a sitting VP were confirmed to the Supreme Court, they would have to resign as vice president. According to records from the U.S. House and Senate, neither a sitting VP nor a past VP has been nominated to the Supreme Court. But we can verify that, yes, it is possible for a sitting vice president to be nominated to the U.S. Supreme Court. With your Verify, I'm Ariande Till.
You're not going to believe those sweet, sweet deals that Steph showed Jeff earlier from our friends at Morning Save. Holidays are here, people. Check it out.
Always good to be back here, Steph. What do you have for us today?
Hey, Jeff, I've got some wonderful products and even better deals, and I can't wait to share them with you. So first up, we've got Heinvision Greet One Smart Video Doorbell. So this deal includes one doorbell with bracket, one chime, one USB cable, and tools to install it. And we've got it in black or white, so you can see, hear, and talk to visitors even when you're away from home. Plus, this is my favorite bit, there's no wiring needed to install this. Thank God, because there's no way would I be able to do that. And it gives you a really good peace of mind about who is at your door, meaning that you'll feel safer at home and when you're out and about on the go. Normally, it's $150, but right now, Jeff, we've got it for only $49, saving up to 67%.
Wow, Steph, this is one of my favorite deals, and we're just getting started. I have some of these at my house.
Yes.
It makes me have a nice peace of mind with my children there, knowing who's at that door.
Exactly, and also if you're out and about during the holidays and you're expecting Christmas gifts or packages to arrive, it's good to have an eye out on your front door because those porch pirates can be a nightmare. Now, Jeff, I have to tell you about this deal. We've got the RBX Heated Shiatsu Massage Pillow. So this deal includes one massage pillow, one wall power adapter, one car charger, and a 1-year warranty. So we all know that the holidays can be really stressful, and this is the best way to get rid of some of that holiday stress. So normally this is $90, but right now we've got it for $25, saving 72%.
You had me at massage, Steph.
Now, Jeff, we've got Tahari Designer Knit Ponchos. So this deal includes one poncho, and we've got it in 3 different colors, black, tan, and navy, and it's available in one size that will fit most. With this product, you can have the best of both worlds because you'll never have to choose between looking cute or being comfortable. So normally these are $48, but right now they're only $19, saving our viewers 60%.
Steph, for $19, I think I could rock one of those. What do you think?
You know what? I wouldn't put it past you. I think you'd look really good, actually. All right, last but certainly not least, we've got Bonico 1-gallon whisper quiet ultrasonic humidifier. So this deal includes one humidifier, and you need to get it because we really need the moisture during these colder months, and this is going to give you the answer to that. It's got a control knob on the front that lets you easily control the desired output, and the best bit, it's whisper quiet, so you can still get a peaceful night's sleep or work undisturbed during the day. The LED night light provides a relaxing ambiance, and with the way that it's designed, you won't have any buildup of limescale, residue, or minerals, which is really important. And normally, this is as much as $110, Jeff, but we've got it just for DBL viewers for $59, which means they're saving 46%.
That's one of my favorite deals for sure. I have one of those in each room of my house because it gets so dry here, Steph.
Oh my gosh, being in Colorado, and also no matter where you are, in the colder months, we all do get dry, our skin can feel really tight, and this is a really good way to stop that happening.
Thank you so much, Steph. Head on over to morningsave.com to snag these amazing deals at the lowest prices. You can even visit morningsave.com on your smartphone. Thank you so much, Steph. We'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
On November 26th, the World Health Organization announced a new, highly mutated COVID-19 variant of concern, which they named Omicron. The WHO says the new variant was first reported to the organization by South Africa. The same day, the U.S. Department of State announced a travel ban for South Africa and several other neighboring countries. Since then, the term South Africa variant has been a popular search on Google to find information about the Omicron variant. The South African government has pushed back against claims that the variant originated in South Africa. So let's verify. Did the World Health Organization say the Omicron variant originated in South Africa? Our sources are the World Health Organization, the government of Botswana, and South Africa's Department of Health. The WHO said the Omicron variant of COVID-19 was first reported to the organization by South Africa on November 24th, based on a sample collected earlier that month. The governments of South Africa and Botswana later confirmed that cases of the Omicron variant have been detected in foreign visitors to Botswana on November 11th. Since then, multiple agencies have reported instances of the Omicron variant in their country, but its origins remain unknown. The delay between Omicron's earliest confirmed infection and the date it was first reported to the WHO by South Africa has to do with the process of sequencing the variant's genome and identifying its mutations. Now that scientists from South Africa have shared the variant's genome with global health officials, other countries are able to identify the variant with tests and in past samples of the virus. The Director General of the WHO says as of December 1st, at least 23 countries have reported cases of the Omicron variant so far. So we can verify, no. The World Health Organization did not say the Omicron variant originated in South Africa.
For as long as the COVID vaccine has been around, experts have urged wealthy countries like the U.S. to share their doses with poorer nations. And it's not just an act of charity. The World Health Organization says everyone will still be at risk for COVID so long as there are parts of the world that are largely unvaccinated. The virus is still spreading rapidly in some countries and mutating as it does. It may be how we ended up with Omicron. Scientists in South Africa say it has at least 30 mutations, more than we've seen with other variants. Experts at Duke University say Southern Africa has become a super incubator for new strains of COVID because countries there are struggling to get enough vaccines. So far, the U.S. has contributed the most doses to the global vaccine effort, pledging to donate 1.1 billion doses. Still, experts say that may not be enough. Moderna is mobilizing hundreds of workers to start researching the Omicron variant of COVID. They say if needed, a reformulated version of their vaccine could be ready for rollout in early 2022. That's a quick turnaround because researchers are no longer working from scratch. This vaccine would just be a modified version of the one they already have, tweaked to combat Omicron's specific mutations. And it's still not a guarantee we need a special shot at all. Researchers are still trying to figure out how effective our current vaccine is against this new variant. They say it's highly likely the vaccine already offers at least some protection from Omicron.
DBL is new every day. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place. We're so grateful you were here with us today. Be safe, y'all. Bye.
On social media, a lot of people are talking about a heart attack drug called tromethamine, making three big claims: that it was added to the kids' Pfizer doses, that it wasn't tested on kids in the clinical trial but was still authorized by the FDA, and that it was added to counteract heart problems caused by the vaccine itself. So let's verify step by step with the help of our sources: the FDA, Pfizer documents, and a trio of infectious disease experts. Let's start with that first claim. Is tromethamine in the children's Pfizer vaccine? That's verified.
The new formulation contains tromethamine, which is known as Tris buffer.
Buffers are added to help maintain a vaccine's pH level, which allows the vaccine to last longer. Which brings us to the second claim, and that's also verified by Pfizer itself. Our experts say that they switched from phosphate buffered saline, or PBS, to Tris because it has a longer shelf life. And we should note that it's already in many vaccines.
PBS is just saline and water. Tris buffer adds another feature in terms of it being protective of the mRNA molecule.
So yes, they tested one buffer and authorized another, but our experts are not too concerned.
We have done this for other products and other vaccines where we've made tiny modifications to the formulation to make them more stable.
Which brings us to our third and final claim. Tromethamine is also a drug prescribed to heart attack patients, so some claim online that it's being added to the vaccine to counteract heart-related side effects from the vaccine. Our sources say this is false.
This tiny amount of tromethamine that is put into these vaccine bottles, that is to stabilize the pH of the bottle. It doesn't have anything to do with the pH of the person that vaccine is going into.
Here's what we're talking about today on Daily Blast Live.
Alec Baldwin claims he did not pull the trigger on the set of Rust, insisting the gun fired on its own. Is his tearful story believable?
How do you come to terms with that?
More details come out in the Michigan school shooting. A former congresswoman and gun violence survivor weighs in on how this could have been prevented. He lost his home, his career, and his kids overnight. This Emmy-nominated actor joins us live to tell us how divorce changed everything. And Sheryl Lee Ralph is also here live, how her new sitcom is tackling serious issues while making us laugh.
Gosh. Are you insane?
This is a sham. No. Y'all, just stop.
Finally here. Drum roll. Welcome to DBL. It's Thursday, December 2nd. I am Tori, and I'm in for Sam, and I'm here with my good friends Erica and Al.
Hey, we missed you.
I missed you too.
Yeah.
It was lovely to be home. Just so you know when you go home and you smell that the home cooking smell, the onions and the garlic.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I smell.
All right.
Well, you did Thanksgiving, Hanukkah.
And Hanukkah. A lot of latkes, a lot of oil. A lot of good food.
I love it.
I gained 10 pounds. All right, let's start with Alec Baldwin, y'all. He's speaking out about the shooting on the set of his movie Rust that, if you remember, killed cinematographer Helena Hutchins. So Alec is now claiming he did not pull the trigger. So that contradicts witness statements on what Baldwin originally told officers. Let's take a look.
Well, the trigger wasn't pulled. I didn't pull the trigger.
So you never pulled the trigger?
No. I would never point a gun at anyone and pull a trigger at them, never. Someone put a live bullet in a gun, a bullet that wasn't even supposed to be on the property.
So now the Santa Fe sheriff is hitting back right now at Baldwin's story, telling Fox News that, quote, guns don't just go off. So whatever needs to happen to manipulate the firearm.
Are we sure that's true?
I know. Baldwin did that, and it was in his hands. Now, I realize this is a strategy. We're now talking about the very semantics of who did what instead of the main picture, which is a defense strategy. But does it matter if he pulled the trigger or if he didn't? And do you believe him? Because he told the cops he fired the gun, but he didn't pull the trigger. He never said he pulled the trigger.
I believe it matters, but the question is, what does it matter for?
Right.
Does it matter in terms of the responsibility, the culpability? Does it matter in terms of the insurance?
Right.
You know, like there's a reason why it matters.
Right.
And that's what my question is what is the end game? Because obviously, no one or most people don't believe that Alec Baldwin intentionally set out to murder Helena Hutchins.
Right.
So by him getting in front of this in this way, is it because this is going to be a very long, drawn-out process and he wants to clear the air on his end? And why? That's really the question.
Which is a good point. Do you think it worked? Meaning, to me, it felt a little, and I don't know about you guys, write me in, but a little like publicists set up the music, the posture, the crying. It felt a little like an SNL sketch, to be honest.
Well, the crying may be real. I mean, somebody that he knew is dead.
Right.
So, you know, I'm going to give him that. What I will say about this is, Erica, you just made me think about something when you said, why does it matter? I was like, well, why does it matter? It's probably because we're talking about millions of dollars of insurance money and who's going to pay that and who's going to receive that. And until you figure out and have a dead to rights, no pun intended, this is the guilty party, and this is the person that was negligent, and this is why they are going to pay, whether it be the production studio, whether it be Alec Baldwin himself, or whoever, whatever subsidiary that this is all under. Like, I think that's where we're going with this, but it seems like for the public, for our consumption, it seems like it's more focused around his celebrity. But I think really this is going to be more boring black and white paper in terms of just like who gets paid and who doesn't.
Yeah, and how did that live round got there? They did say that right after it went off, someone shook the cartridge box and some didn't rattle, and a rattle tells you it's a dummy round. And so now they're looking into, did they get live rounds mixed in with dummy rounds, and maybe that also has culpability issues as well.
Well, yeah, this is what happens.
And one of the first stories that was reported was that they were using those same guns to go out plinking or whatever, basically shooting cans.
Right.
So based on that story, if that is correct or not, we know how the live rounds would have been somewhere in the vicinity.
On the property, right. And they also did say that guns discharged and had malfunctions with live rounds. That's when some people have walked off the set. They said there was a discharge on a gun 2 times. So
yeah, I feel like we're just zooming in on one or two parts of the story, but I think there's an overall arching issue of negligence here, whether it be the COVID issue, whether it be the lodging issue. They were staying
the bullets,
hours
the
away.
Armor, right.
It just seems like this is a fundamental breakdown of procedure, and this is what happens when because I'm sure that it's much more expensive to deal with a union.
Yeah.
You know, and they're like, oh, he's a union guy, she's a union woman. They're more expensive. But the reason they are is because they do things a certain way. When you go non-union, it will be cheaper. And 9 times out of 10, it will probably be okay.
Right.
But this is what we're talking about when you have people that are doing jobs that they're kind of right for, but not all the way, especially when you're talking about guns or a stunt driver or anything like that. These are people's life or death, and this is what happens.
Yeah.
This isn't just to slow things down. This is people's lives, and somebody's mom is gone because of this. Somebody's wife is gone because of this.
Let's not forget about Helena Hutchins and all this.
Absolutely.
I appreciate that, Al. All right, coming up on DBL, as we learn more about the Michigan school shooting, we're joined by a gun violence survivor and former congresswoman to break down what has been done to stop them. Stay tuned, y'all.
Closed captioning provided by
It's so easy.
The whole thing fell.
All right.
Yeah, that's true.
A lot of gun talk today. I'm sure we're going to be prepped for this interview. Megan?
Well, you guys have a B block first, but then I'm C block. So
I actually do want to talk about B. With Michael Dean here.
Yeah. And I went over this with them already, but you guys see these extra little bits after the third question? Hopefully.
Okay. So what we know about this woman who's joining us, she's with Gifford's
Gifford
Congregation, so she's very much into gun control and all that. and I know you all probably are too, but I would like to offer up, as we're talking to her, what the other side says. So you can say, I know some on the other side would say to this.
Absolutely.
So a little devil's advocate with her so that we can have a bit of a debate, even though I know you're probably on her side. But
Right, but I mean, gun control is like, I don't even know if it's devil's advocate. It's half the country, if not more.
Well, two-thirds of Americans support gun control legislation.
Right.
You know, and she'll make that point. So.
1/3 is noisy. Yeah, it's you know, I'm really. It just shows you how popular marijuana was in terms of getting it on the ballot and passed. Because I don't know if we can get anything. I don't know if we can get seatbelts passed now. Right. I think there would be so many governors that would like sit down like, you can't move.
Obviously, there's no helmet law in Colorado.
There's no helmet. A lot of places don't have helmet laws.
I'm surprised by that. I see people all the time riding without helmets, and I'm surprised by it because I thought that was national.
I'm surprised by seeing people holding their phones in their car.
Is that a law here?
No, it's not. But in California, you definitely can't.
Yeah,
oh, you get a ticket.
Drives free. You have to do it hands free.
I got pulled over in LA for holding my phone.
I got a
like
ticket
8 years ago. It was like kind of new.
But that's the California
and I was like,
thing.
what is the I didn't know why I was getting pulled over.
Welcome back to DBL, everyone. We have an update on the school shooting in Michigan that we've been following. 4 students died in the attack on Tuesday, and the suspect has been charged as an adult with 1 count of terrorism and 4 counts of first-degree murder. And get this, police say the suspect recorded videos on his phone the night before the attack in which he talked about shooting and killing students. We're also learning his parents came to the school hours before to meet with him and his teachers to discuss his behavioral issues. For more on this issue and the issue of gun violence in our schools, we're joined by former Congresswoman Debbie Mucarsel-Powell. She's also a senior advocate at Giffords, a gun control advocacy group. Welcome, Debbie. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Now, you are, in fact, a survivor of gun violence. Your father died in 1996 from gunshot wounds. So based on your experience, what are these 4 families in Michigan going through right now?
Listen, like you said, this is a personal issue for me that I've been fighting to correct here in this country for many years. And I can tell you that as a mom, this is every parent's worst nightmare. I worry about sending my children to school, and I've spoken to so many parents that lost their children at the Parkland shooting here in Florida, parents that lose their kids from drive-by shootings. We are losing too many children to this gun violence epidemic. My heart breaks for those families, and this is a preventable event. Yes. We have measures that we can institute right away to prevent the next school shooting. Schools are a place for children to learn. They should feel safe. Parents should feel safe sending their children to school. We should not have active shooter drills. We should not be anxious when we hear of school lockdowns. We've been experiencing at a high rate in the past few years here in this country. So let me just say that pain and that trauma leaves families broken and communities as well for many years after that pain.
I echo that sentiment. We should not be experiencing this as families, as a nation, in what should be our safest places, right? But this was the deadliest school shooting in America this year. So in your opinion, what needs to happen to stop gun violence?
We do know that not one measure is going to stop every gun violence event, but there are different things that we can do. We could pass the universal background check bill, which Just today, just to tell you, I just found out that Republicans in the Senate went to the Senate floor to block passing a universal background check bill, which most Americans agree, Republicans, Democrats, Independents, that we need to act and prevent people that shouldn't have a gun from purchasing a weapon. If parents have a weapon at home, we can pass laws that provide for a safety measure so that they can have safe storage laws in their states. We also need to raise the minimum age for children who can purchase a weapon from 18 to 21. There are many things that we can do, but we cannot continue to turn our heads and ignore this crisis that we have. It's a national crisis, and we can't continue to see children dying from gun violence.
It's a national crisis and it's a personal crisis. I mean, I lost a good friend of mine to gun violence years ago before this was kind of on everybody's lips. And, so this is very personal to me. But, we have a lot of viewers here and they need to be spoken for, too. And a lot of them are saying that, I disagree with you. I don't think that this is a gun problem. This is more of a mental health problem. So this is your chance to talk right to that viewer. What would you say to them that says that this is a mental health problem and not a gun problem?
The United States has similar rates of mental illness than most other comparable nations, yet we have much higher rates of gun violence. Guns are meant to kill. If we have a 15-year-old that is meant to cause harm and he's able to get a weapon, whether from his father or from gun trafficking, which we've also seen in this country, he will kill many more people than if he's not able to get that weapon. That is why we have to pass gun safety measures. We have laws that can stop people from purchasing a weapon when they're meant to harm. This is not political. This is about safety. We are the only country in the world that experiences the rate of mass shootings that we see, particularly losing children to this epidemic. 91% of children, listen to this statistic, 91% of children who are killed to gun violence are killed here in the United States. Wow. This has to stop. And I don't want anyone to think that because someone is suffering from mental illness, they're going to go and get a weapon and kill. It's not that simple. It's the easy access to getting a weapon that is the problem that we have here in America.
I think that's what we hear from our viewers a lot is that, they're worried about that these gun control laws do not deter crime, more that they're going to deter the good guys with the guns and only leave the bad guys with the guns. What would you say to that?
Look, we know, and we've seen much data that shows that more guns in the streets create more violence. When you have any sort of event, when there are weapons involved, it can escalate very quickly, and it can then in turn out to have homicide rates that are higher than in other places that we've seen when guns are not involved. So it's a false equivalency. It's misinformation, to tell you the truth. I think that this is a message that has been used by the NRA and the gun lobby for many, many years. And to tell you the truth, what we need is gun laws that are going to protect our families and our communities. Again, most Americans agree. A basic universal background check. If you have a violent record, you should not be able to purchase a weapon. If you don't have a license to sell arms, you should not be able to sell arms at gun shows. There are many things that we need, loopholes that we need to close in the law. And there's a way to do that. Yes. And we are seeing that senators who are beholden to the gun lobby are not acting. That has to stop. I don't think that Americans want to continue to wake up to the news of yet another tragedy like the one that we just saw in Michigan.
You're absolutely right. Debbie, thank you so much for being here. I have to say, your father would be very proud of you. We'll be right back. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I'm a much calmer cat, thanks to Feel Away Optimum.
Swirling online about President Joe Biden potentially nominating Vice President Kamala Harris to the Supreme Court. Those rumors were reported in an article published by CNN. The article says, quote, that chatter has already reached the top levels of the Biden orbit, according to one person who's heard it, unquote. In the days after the CNN report was published, there were thousands of mentions of Kamala Harris and Supreme Court across Facebook and Twitter, according to CrowdTangle, a public insights company owned by Facebook. Verify has not been able to confirm whether that claim is true, but we can answer if it's possible. So let's verify. Can a sitting vice president be nominated to the U.S. Supreme Court? Our sources are the U.S. Constitution, records from the U.S. Senate and House of Representatives, and 2 constitutional law experts. There are few restrictions on who can become a Supreme Court justice. The Constitution lists no age or citizenship restrictions, and you don't even have to practice law or even have a law degree. The only restriction for being nominated to the Supreme Court is an impeachment or a conviction that bars you from any federal office. In an email to Verify, Erwin Chemerinsky, dean of Berkeley Law School, said, quote, "I do not see any impediment to a sitting vice president being nominated for the Supreme Court," unquote. Jeffrey Stone, law professor at the University of Chicago, added that if a sitting VP were confirmed to the Supreme Court, they would have to resign as vice president. According to records from the U.S. House and Senate, neither a sitting VP nor a past VP has been nominated to the Supreme Court. But we can verify that, yes, it is possible for a sitting vice president to be nominated to the U.S. Supreme Court. With your Verify, I'm Ariande Till.
He is an Emmy-nominated actor who lost his home, his career, and his kids overnight because of divorce. And that's why he's written a book with hopes of telling his truth and helping others. Please welcome to the show, Greg Ellis. Welcome, Greg. Thank you for being here.
Hey, Greg.
Thank you very much for having me. It's great to be on.
Absolutely. Now, before we get into the night your life was literally turned upside down, tell us what your life was like before that evening. Paint us a picture.
20 years married, happily, living the American dream. Beautiful home, member of the country club, kids in an exclusive elite private school. And I was flying around the world on location filming and had a great career. So life was pretty wonderful.
Wow, pretty sunny.
So Greg, you've said that a 10-word lie ruined your life. What was the lie and what happened after it was said?
Well, yeah, it was March 5th, 2015, and in the span of 8 hours on that day, I was ushered from my home in handcuffs at the behest, I later discovered, of my ex-wife. Imprisoned, the first of 5 incarcerations, subjected to a temporary restraining order, became homeless, almost destitute overnight, and watched helplessly as my professional reputation was irretrievably destroyed, and my sons lost their loving, present father for half their childhoods.
Wow.
And in crossing that legal Rubicon from citizen to respondent, which is the name given to the defendant in a family law or divorce court proceeding, I migrated from a world of presumed innocence, earned privilege, and respected privacy to one of assumed guilt and immediate and ruthless judgment. And when I discovered that family law is the only branch of our legal system where there's no presumption of innocence, that means that murderers, rapists, terrorists, pedophiles all get more legal rights than law-abiding citizens. I started to wonder why we have this meaning crisis, why we have this dad deprivation crisis, why America is the world leader in children growing up in single-parent households. And to Debbie's point, I believe the gravest indicator at the root of America's torn familial tapestry is marriage and family breakdown. Social ills and public policy stem from the health and well-being of relationships and family formation. And we have to be asking that question. Why is there such a meaning crisis? Why are there so many shooters who come from dad-deprived homes? And why are we not speaking about the causality and correlation with young males, gun violence, and our dad deprivation crisis? This is a national health emergency, maybe even global, that nobody's talking about. And family law is really at the core of this. And we must do a better job protecting the most vulnerable among us.
So Greg, what were the 10 words that put you into this tailspin?
Yeah, there was a call that went to law enforcement from my ex-wife, and she asked them to come to the house and said that I was confused. They said, "We can't come to the house if he's confused." And she said, "What do you need to hear?" And they said, "We need to hear he's a threat to himself or the children." And the 10 words were, "I'm sick of this S word. I'm gonna harm the children." And those 10 words basically ruined my life. And welcome to family law.
Wow. Wow. All right. You haven't seen your sons in a couple years now, Greg. If you have the floor, you have this platform, what do you want them to know?
Well, yeah. Oh, that's a.
I know that's a big.
It's painful
question.
to talk about.
Yeah.
I can't imagine.
Yeah. Gosh, I just refer to the book. Really, I write one of my final chapters in the book is called "A Funeral for My Sons," and in order to live through the living grief, as I talk about it, I talk with parents through my charity foundation, CPU, Children and Parents United, about the suicide by living grief, the lack of finality and closure. I didn't want to write my book. I had to. That final chapter was really, it was a ritual funeral ceremony that I had to enact myself to lay to rest the living grief of being suddenly and shockingly and catastrophically separated from my two boys, who were the meaning of my life. And I wrote the book to make sense as well of the government-sponsored devastation of my life and destruction of my family. It was part of my sense-making therapy and recovery. I wrote it to ring the alarm bell about a broken system and call for social change and family law reform, because this is happening and has been happening for decades to tens of thousands of parents and children across America. But more than anything, I wrote it to let my children know that I haven't and hadn't and never would abandon them, and my door is wide open. I love them so much. They were my everything.
Wow.
They were and are my everything.
Wow.
So now I dedicate my time and my mission to helping other children and parents navigate this horrifically unfair divorce system that we have in America.
Wow.
And call for social change and bring about policies and educate people. I just want to give a quick shout out to Representative Creech and his colleagues in Ohio who are pushing through the equal shared parenting bill that's going to save thousands of children and parents' lives, literally.
That's
and
amazing.
I don't say that lightly.
Thank you so much.
So there's many great local heroes across America doing great work.
Thank you for that. To our DBL Nation, visit Greg's website, therespondent.com. You can also purchase his book or soon-to-be released audiobook. You can also learn about his nonprofit aimed at helping families through divorce. Greg, thank you again for being here and for your courage. We'll be right back. Thank you.
Thanks to all of you. Be well.
Absolutely. You too.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by...
Are you...
On November 26th, the World Health Organization announced a new, highly mutated COVID-19 variant of concern, which they named Omicron. The WHO says the new variant was first reported to the organization by South Africa. The same day, the U.S. Department of State announced a travel ban for South Africa and several other neighboring countries. Since then, the term South Africa variant has been a popular search on Google to find information about the Omicron variant. The South African government has pushed back against claims that the variant originated in South Africa. So let's verify. Did the World Health Organization say the Omicron variant originated in South Africa? Our sources are the World Health Organization, the government of Botswana, and South Africa's Department of Health. The WHO said the Omicron variant of COVID-19 was first reported to the organization by South Africa on November 24th, based on a sample collected earlier that month. The governments of South Africa and Botswana later confirmed that cases of the Omicron variant have been detected in foreign visitors to Botswana on November 11th. Since then, multiple agencies have reported instances of the Omicron variant in their country, but its origins remain unknown. The delay between Omicron's earliest confirmed infection and the date it was first reported to the WHO by South Africa has to do with the process of sequencing the variant's genome and identifying its mutations. Now that scientists from South Africa have shared the variant's genome with global health officials, other countries are able to identify the variant with tests and in past samples of the virus. The Director General of the WHO says as of December 1st, at least 23 countries have reported cases of the Omicron variant so far. So we can verify, no. The World Health Organization did not say the Omicron variant originated in South Africa.
For as long as the COVID vaccine has been around, experts have urged wealthy countries like the U.S. to share their doses with poorer nations. And it's not just an act of charity. The World Health Organization says everyone will still be at risk for COVID so long as there are parts of the world that are largely unvaccinated. The virus is still spreading rapidly in some countries and mutating as it does. It may be how we ended up with Omicron. Scientists in South Africa say it has at least 30 mutations, more than we've seen with other variants. Experts at Duke University say Southern Africa has become a super incubator for new strains of COVID because countries there are struggling to get enough vaccines. So far, the U.S. has contributed the most doses to the global vaccine effort, pledging to donate 1.1 billion doses. Still, experts say that may not be enough. Moderna is mobilizing hundreds of workers to start researching the Omicron variant of COVID. They say if needed, a reformulated version of their vaccine could be ready for rollout in early 2022. That's a quick turnaround because researchers are no longer working from scratch. This vaccine would just be a modified version of the one they already have, tweaked to combat Omicron's specific mutations. And it's still not a guarantee we need a special shot at all. Researchers are still trying to figure out how effective our current vaccine is against this new variant. They say it's highly likely the vaccine already offers at least some protection from Omicron.
If you're leaving us, you can watch the second half of the show online. Watch on YouTube, dailyblastlive.com, or our DBL mobile app. But if you're sticking around, you're much cooler. Here's what's coming up. Will Jussie Smollett's defense hold up? The testimony that claims he instructed the brothers on how to fake a fight. And Tom Brady wants his son to follow in his footsteps. But is it too much pressure?
On social media, a lot of people are talking about a heart attack drug called trimethoprim, making three big claims: that it was added to the kids' Pfizer doses, that it wasn't tested on kids in the clinical trial but was still authorized by the FDA, and that it was added to counteract heart problems caused by the vaccine itself. So let's verify step by step with the help of our sources: the FDA, Pfizer documents, and a trio of infectious disease experts. Let's start with that first claim. Is trimethoprim in the children's Pfizer vaccine? That's verified.
The new formulation contains trimethoprim, which is known as tris buffer.
Buffers are added to help maintain a vaccine's pH level, which allows the vaccine to last longer. Which brings us to the second claim, and that's also verified by Pfizer itself. Our experts say that they switched from phosphate buffered saline, or PBS, to tris because it has a longer shelf life. And we should note that it's already in many vaccines.
PBS is just saline and water. Tris buffer adds another feature in terms of it being protective of the mRNA molecule.
So yes, they tested one buffer and authorized another, but our experts are not too concerned.
We have done this for other products and other vaccines where we've made tiny modifications to the formulation to make them more stable.
Which brings us to our third and final claim. Trimethoprim is also a drug prescribed to heart attack patients, so some claim online that it's being added to the vaccine to counteract heart-related side effects from the vaccine. Our sources say this is false.
This tiny amount of trimethoprim that is put into these vaccine bottles, that is to stabilize the pH of the bottle. It doesn't have anything to do with the pH of the person that vaccine is going into.
This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Oh my gosh.
Are you insane? This is a sham.
No.
Nope.
Y'all just
It's
stop.
finally here. Drum roll. Welcome to Daily Blast Live, y'all. I'm Tori, and I'm in for Sam. I'm here with Al and Erica, and we are finally hearing from one of the Nigerian brothers at the Jussie Smollett trial. Now, if you don't remember, or you live under a rock, Jussie is accused of staging a homophobic and racist attack on himself back in January 2019. So yesterday, though, one of the men involved in that attack, Abel Daro, told the court that Jussie told him to punch him, but not too hard, just enough to give him a bruise. He agreed to go along with the hoax in hopes Jussie would help him out with his acting career. He also said Jussie wanted another man involved, so he roped his brother into the scheme. Now, as we are discussing this, the cross-examination is going after him right now, and they are suggesting or implying that Abel did this because he wanted a relationship with Jussie, and he is trying to say that's not true, but they're going for a motive in another way of trying to give us a distraction. Do we believe the brother? Do we believe Jussie? And can Jussie come back? I don't believe Jussie. I'll be very open about that. Do you believe Jussie?
I don't. You know, I always say this, I'm a big daytime TV fan before I started doing it, and I love Judge Judy, and Judge Judy always said if something doesn't make sense, it means it's not true.
Yeah.
And a lot of the things in this case do not make sense, Erica. And I remember when we were covering this story, like pre-pandemic, seems like a million years ago.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, I didn't say anything at the time because at this time, it was, you want to believe. You believe. And I remember we did the story where he did a concert that week. That weekend he sang. And I have buddies of mine that played D1 football. Your brother played pro football. Cracked ribs, which is what he claimed one of his injuries were.
Hard to sing, isn't it?
It's hard to breathe.
Yeah.
You can't sleep, much less hold a note, much less laugh. So I thought that was, or sneeze. So I remember sitting in that chair being like, that's weird, but I didn't want to come out because that was all I just was like, sus. That's weird. That's a little sus. What'd you think?
You know, I mean, I'm trying to make sense out of this story, right? Because it defies logic. But I think of it like this. Apparently, the motive that they're saying they're going with was that Jussie was feeling like his security concerns by getting like threatening mail or hate mail to the studio for which he worked wasn't being addressed adequately.
Correct.
And I think that taking this out, most people at some point in their lives have felt in their careers that they aren't seen, they aren't heard, and they're not protected, even though they're giving their best and their lives to this company.
True.
But we don't remedy the situation by doing this, what I like to call like, see, I got you, I told you so. Like, that's how this feels to me.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this could have happened. Let's see what happens when it happens.
Right.
And that's where the whole thing goes AWOL. It goes completely awry, because had he just, and this is the thing I always look at when I think about criminal minds, like when people do things, I'm like, if you would have just gone through the proper channels.
I know.
It may not have felt good to you. It may have felt even worse to have like insult into injury if they did nothing about it. But at least you explored the channels that were there legally.
Right, and you didn't lose the reputation in the meantime.
Exactly.
Yeah, I just
and
don't
maybe it cost them the show. The show went off the air.
Oh, yeah, it cost everybody.
I mean, it's, you know, it's
and doubling
so
down and doubling down. It's just, I just think it's gotten worse and worse. I agree. Let us know what you guys think. If you believe, if you don't, we'd love to hear from you. Let's move over to the old football.
That's how people used to throw in the 1930s. Like, just like that was very old school, but I like it. There we go.
Down the line. There we go. Tom Brady is revealing what his wife Gisele Bündchen thinks about his son following in Tom's footsteps. On a recent podcast, Tom talked about watching his alma mater, the greatest university of all, the University of Michigan. Hail to the victors valiant. That's my alma mater. Thank you. Beat Ohio State.
Why is that relevant to the story?
Very. That's the biggest part of the story.
Whoever did the prompter, that was very negligent.
Very part of the story. Yep, very. With his oldest son, Jack, have a listen to what he said.
I had a little future Wolverine, my son Jack, sitting on the bed with me as I was jumping around, and we were wrestling on the bed. And I said, that's where you're going to be. You're going to be in the big house someday. You're going to be the starting quarterback for Michigan. And my wife was like, just let him be what he wants to be, for God's sakes.
Imagine if Gisele had a daughter and was like, you're going to be a supermodel like me. Like, that's setting the kid up to never be enough.
Yeah.
You're going to tell Tom Brady's son you're going to go to Michigan like me and try and beat me. The odds of that happening are incredibly rare. Incredibly rare.
One of the things I thought about for my personal situation is, you know, my dad has our family funeral home.
Right.
And none of us are in that industry. And I know it's very disappointing to him.
It is.
That none of his children will take over his legacy.
Has he said that to you guys? Has he been open about that?
It's a very open thing.
Oh, wow. He's very upset.
Very open.
And your dad doesn't seem like he works in the world of nuance a lot.
Yeah, you know, for a while I felt some type of way, like, well, maybe I could. And I'm like, that's not what I meant to do. So I think a lot of people have been put in this situation for for one reason or another. And a lot of people will just follow suit because you don't want to disappoint your parents or end the legacy. But how long will the legacy, like, honestly, if I took over a funeral home tomorrow, how long would that last?
It would be a really glamorous funeral.
How long?
It really would be. It'd be fabulous.
Is
that a red bottom casket?
She looks amazing. Is that Louis Vuitton? No, that's incredible. But what do you think about your sons following in, like, Elijah's interested in acting and stuff. Would you want him to go into that?
But he came to it naturally.
I see.
And, you know, I think that you almost put handcuffs on your kid when you tell them that you want, even just saying it, not forcing them, but just saying, I want you to follow your old dad. Well, your kids look at you like you're the son. You know, so like whatever you say to them is going to resonate more than just like, oh, well, they knew they could have done something else. They don't know that.
They don't know that.
They think if I do anything else, that my dad or my mom is going to be disappointed in me. And that's why as we're sitting here, we probably have people in professions that are good at it, but like would rather be doing something else.
Miserable.
You would be great at running a funeral home. You're organized, you're good with people, but look at you on this job. I'm sure your dad looks at you like, I'm glad she didn't listen.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just, but it's hard.
Yeah,
it's hard, you know?
It's letting your child find their own path when it's not your path to go down. Yeah. That's a hard thing to vicariously not do. All right, coming up on DBL.
And that was quite a sentence to end it.
I think it was way
vicariously not do.
Well said, Tori, grammatically. Sheryl Lee Ralph is here. Doesn't matter.
My
She's
girl,
here live.
yes.
She's telling us all about her new sitcom that sheds light on some serious topics. We love you, Miss Cheryl.
We need her to.
But before we go to break, Dave Grohl is honoring Jewish singers for 8 days of Hanukkah. Here's his cover of Barry Manilow's Copacabana. You're welcome. Take a look.
Copacabana, the hottest spot north of Havana. At the Copacabana.
Closed captioning provided by
As a DJ.
All right. We just want to break with Dave Grohl, leader of lead singer of the Foo Fighters. I didn't know
about her
like what a really just prophetic musician he is, and he just seems like a cool guy. He's got that kind of career that I think everybody wants because he's a rock star. Dave Grohl.
Okay,
sorry.
Dave,
yeah, I know him.
The leader of the Foo Fighters, you know?
I know who he is, but I don't know anything about.
Right, but I would just say he's got that kind of celebrity.
Great.
That almost I kind of want with like Tom Hanks, where you're super famous, but you're still kind of like right underneath the radar. Because I wouldn't want that like
thanks so much.
Flash bulbs. You go to a restaurant and it's crazy all the time, like probably how Kim Kardashian. I want that like low key, can put a baseball hat on, but also like you can have like the celebrity along with it and your talent and your fans. So I don't know if that makes any sense, but I would love to be famous, but I don't want to be can't go to a restaurant or like would cause a riot at the mall famous. That doesn't seem fun. You know, like the kind of famous where you gotta like you gotta go to Disney World when it's closed.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't.
No.
Thank you, Anthony.
And I'm a more of a fortune over fame person, and not even like fortune in terms of like billions of dollars. Just like
such a good question.
Don't have to think about money type money.
Comfy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're real comfy.
I would take that over people knowing who I am.
Yeah, I think a lot of people do. They're called producers, executive, the people behind the camera. Where you go, oh, who's the person who's the lead on whatever show? They would love to be the EP because they're the person that cuts the check. So I don't know. I'd be down with that. Tori, how famous do you want to be?
How famous?
Yes. Do you want
my fame is Joan Cusack famous, where you see her and you're always like, oh, I love her. I'm so glad she's in this movie. But no paparazzi is following her around. That's the type of famous I want to be. You know we're in Target.
Cheesesteak.
Cheesesteak. This is a classroom, not a hoagie stand.
Hoagie. We had it on the board.
This diva star power not only lights up a room, it also shines bright on Broadway stages and on Hollywood sets. Ladies and gentlemen, Sheryl Lee Ralph joins us.
Yes.
Hello,
Yes.
Sheryl. Now, we are told you heard a little bit of our last block, which we love when our guests listen. We were talking about Jussie Smollett. In your opinion, can he have a comeback? Talk to us.
Wait a minute. Did you ask me, could he have a comeback after what he did? Of course he can. Are you kidding me? This is America. We have had people who just recently might have broken the whole country, and they're talking about running again and might win. So can Jussie Smollett have a comeback? Yes, he can. And it's very hard because I have to be upfront. I love Jussie. I've known him since he was a child. Did he make a very bad mistake? Yes, he did. But when it comes to entertainment and capitalism in America, can he have a comeback? Yes, he absolutely can.
Well said.
Yeah,
Well, Miss Sheryl,
this is showbiz, baby.
I just have to say that my mantra is everyone's deserving of the comeback that they're willing to earn. So it's not a matter of if. A lot of times it's just a matter of when.
I love this. Very smart.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That part.
That's right. Yeah. All right. I can't wait to ask you this question. I've been dying to ask you. Dr. Oz. That Dr. Oz is running for Senate, Miss Sheryl, in your state of Pennsylvania, where your husband is a state senator. Does Dr. Oz have what it takes? Miss Sheryl, you have the floor.
I've got to tell you something. There's so many things that I want to say, but I have always been taught that inner thoughts need not be outer thoughts, especially when you want to say things like carpetbagger. Everybody wants to think that they can just up and be a politician. My husband, Senator Vincent Hughes of Pennsylvania, works 28 hours a day. He works 9 days a week. He must always be available to the people. He must always be thinking about how to move not just his community, but his state, his city, as part of these United States. And a lot of people are just out there ego tripping, and I wish it would stop, because it was ego trips that have gotten us to the state where we are, where so many people in our country don't even know what right from wrong is anymore. And I think Dr. Oz is making a wrong move.
Well said. Now we're going to get to some good things. Your show, Abbott Elementary, which also my girl Janelle James is on that show right there. My friend Janelle, I've known her since she started her career. She's an incredible person and a good friend of mine. So it's so cool to see two people I love working together.
That's lovely.
And I really do believe that Janelle is a breakout in this show. She's just so uniquely talented, and it's wonderful working with her. And Abbott Elementary has been a blessing to me, and I believe that this show has the possibility of turning into America's new favorite comedy. It just has so many wonderful things to say, and the way we have the ability to tackle the seriousness with comedy is just wonderful.
Wow.
Well, and I understand that this is really like art imitating reality in some form, because you come from a family of educators. Who in your family is most like your character?
Oh my gosh. You know what? I would really have to say in so many ways, I am playing my Auntie Carolyn. My Auntie Carolyn was the teacher that nobody ever forgot. And still people would say, aren't you Miss Preston's niece? And I'm just like, yes, I am. They're like, I went to Bunker Hill. She changed that school. She changed my life. And there are moments in the show, because I play Mrs. Howard, was loosely based on Quinta's mother, who was a 40-year teacher in the Philadelphia School District. And she is also that teacher that the students didn't forget. She might have been tough on you, but she was tough on you because she saw the possibilities in you, and she loved you enough to get you to pass kindergarten with flying A's.
Amen. I think we all know a teacher right now that has pushed us to be where we are. I do have to ask this. You've been an activist since the AIDS epidemic began 40 years ago. I wanted to ask you what we should learn and apply about what we've learned from AIDS and the stigma and testing to the current coronavirus pandemic.
It's so, thank you for that question.
Yeah.
It has been 40 years of AIDS in America, and in my fight, I learned back in the day, people didn't want to get tested for the virus. And when they did get tested, they didn't go back for their results. When you'd have conversations about what is the barrier to passing the disease, the use of condoms, people didn't want to use condoms like they don't want to wear masks now. We didn't have a vaccine back then. Now we have the golden opportunity of a vaccine against corona. People don't want to take it. When people don't take it, it allows the virus to mutate, putting us all the way back at zero. And I wish people would pay attention and learn from the past, because there's a great saying, if you don't remember the past, you are destined to repeat it. And I see us repeating it now. We've had so many variants from Delta to Omicron now. If people would listen to the science, remember, protect yourself.
Yes.
Wear your mask.
Yes.
Get the vaccine. Get the booster too.
Yes.
Why get the booster? Because the vaccine that you had a few months ago might be strong on the variant of a few months ago.
Stay updated.
You need the booster now because you've got Omicron, because you were slow about getting vaccinated in the first place. And
Wise
now
words.
you need the booster.
There you go. Wise words from a wise woman. Just do it. Thank you so much for joining us, Miss Sheryl.
We needed you today.
We did need you
Trust
today.
me.
We really did. DBL Nation, Abbott Elementary premieres Tuesday night on ABC. Also visits divassimplysinging.com to support the Diva Foundation. One of our favorite guests of all time,
She's
Miss Sheryl
family.
Lee Ralph.
No longer
she is
a guest.
family.
You're
We'll be right
family.
back.
We love you, girl.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Swirling online about President Joe Biden potentially nominating Vice President Kamala Harris to the Supreme Court. Those rumors were reported in an article published by CNN. The article says, quote, that chatter has already reached the top levels of the Biden orbit, according to one person who's heard it, unquote. In the days after the CNN report was published, there were thousands of mentions of Kamala Harris and Supreme Court across Facebook and Twitter, according to CrowdTangle, a public insights company owned by Facebook. Verify has not been able to confirm whether that claim is true, but we can answer if it's possible. So let's verify. Can a sitting vice president be nominated to the U.S. Supreme Court? Our sources are the U.S. Constitution, records from the U.S. Senate and House of Representatives, and 2 constitutional law experts. There are few restrictions on who can become a Supreme Court justice. The Constitution lists no age or citizenship restrictions, and you don't even have to practice law or even have a law degree. The only restriction for being nominated to the Supreme Court is an impeachment or a conviction that bars you from any federal office. In an email to Verify, Erwin Chemerinsky, dean of Berkeley Law School, said, quote, I do not see any impediment to a sitting vice president being nominated for the Supreme Court, unquote. Jeffrey Stone, law professor at the University of Chicago, added that if a sitting VP were confirmed to the Supreme Court, they would have to resign as vice president. According to records from the U.S. House and Senate, neither a sitting VP nor a past VP has been nominated to the Supreme Court. But we can verify that, yes, it is possible for a sitting vice president to be nominated to the U.S. Supreme Court. With your Verify, I'm Ariande Till.
You're not going to believe those sweet, sweet deals that Steph showed Jeff earlier from our friends at Morning Save. Holidays are here, people. Check it out.
Always good to be back here, Steph. What do you have for us today?
Hey, Jeff, I've got some wonderful products and even better deals, and I can't wait to share them with you. So first up, we've got Heim Vision Greet one smart video doorbell. So this deal includes one doorbell with bracket, one chime, one USB cable, and tools to install it. And we've got it in black or white, so you can see, hear, and talk to visitors even when you're away from home. Plus, this is my favorite bit, there's no wiring needed to install this. Thank God, because there's no way would I be able to do that. And it gives you a really good peace of mind about who is at your door, meaning that you'll feel safer at home and when you're out and about on the go. Normally, it's $150, but right now, Jeff, we've got it for only $49, saving up to 67%.
Wow, Steph, this is one of my favorite deals, and we're just getting started. I have some of these at my house.
Yes.
It makes me have a nice peace of mind with my children there, knowing who's at that door.
Exactly, and also if you're out and about during the holidays and you're expecting Christmas gifts or packages to arrive, it's good to have an eye out on your front door because those porch pirates can be a nightmare. Now, Jeff, I have to tell you about this deal. We've got the RBX heated shiatsu massage pillow. So this deal includes one massage pillow, one wall power adapter, one car charger, and a 1-year warranty. So we all know that the holidays can be really stressful, and this is the best way to get rid of some of that holiday stress. So normally this is $90, but right now we've got it for $25, saving 72%.
You had me at massage, Steph.
Now, Jeff, we've got Tahari designer knit ponchos. So this deal includes one poncho, and we've got it in 3 different colors, black, tan, and navy, and it's available in one size that will fit most. With this product, you can have the best of both worlds because you'll never have to choose between looking cute or being comfortable. So normally these are $48, but right now they're only $19, saving our viewers 60%.
Steph, for $19, I think I could rock one of those. What do you think?
You know what? I wouldn't put it past you. I think you'd look really good, actually. All right, last but certainly not least, we've got Bo Nico 1-gallon Whisper Quiet ultrasonic humidifier. So this deal includes one humidifier, and you need to get it because we really need the moisture during these colder months, and this is going to give you the answer to that. It's got a control knob on the front that lets you easily control the desired output, and the best bit, it's whisper quiet, so you can still get a peaceful night's sleep or work undisturbed during the day. The LED night light provides a relaxing ambiance, and with the way that it's designed, you won't have any buildup of limescale, residue, or minerals, which is really important. And normally, this is as much as $110, Jeff, but we've got it just for DBL viewers for $59, which means they're saving 46%.
That's one of my favorite deals for sure. I have one of those in each room of my house because it gets so dry here, Steph.
Oh my gosh, being in Colorado, and also no matter where you are in the colder months, we all do get dry, our skin can feel really tight, and this is a really good way to stop that happening.
Thank you so much, Steph. Head on over to morningsave.com to snag these amazing deals at the lowest prices. You can even visit morningsave.com on your smartphone. Thank you so much, Steph. We'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
On November 26th, the World Health Organization announced a new, highly mutated COVID-19 variant of concern, which they named Omicron. The WHO says the new variant was first reported to the organization by South Africa. The same day, the U.S. Department of State announced a travel ban for South Africa and several other neighboring countries. Since then, the term South Africa variant has been a popular search on Google to find information about the Omicron variant. The South African government has pushed back against claims that the variant originated in South Africa. So let's verify. Did the World Health Organization say the Omicron variant originated in South Africa? Our sources are the World Health Organization, the government of Botswana, and South Africa's Department of Health. The WHO said the Omicron variant of COVID-19 was first reported to the organization by South Africa on November 24th, based on a sample collected earlier that month. The governments of South Africa and Botswana later confirmed that cases of the Omicron variant have been detected in foreign visitors to Botswana on November 11th. Since then, multiple agencies have reported instances of the Omicron variant in their country, but its origins remain unknown. The delay between Omicron's earliest confirmed infection and the date it was first reported to the WHO by South Africa has to do with the process of sequencing the variant's genome and identifying its mutations. Now that scientists from South Africa have shared the variant's genome with global health officials, other countries are able to identify the variant with tests and in past samples of the virus. The Director General of the WHO says as of December 1st, at least 23 countries have reported cases of the Omicron variant so far. So we can verify, no. The World Health Organization did not say the Omicron variant originated in South Africa.
For as long as the COVID vaccine has been around, experts have urged wealthy countries like the U.S. to share their doses with poorer nations. And it's not just an act of charity. The World Health Organization says everyone will still be at risk for COVID so long as there are parts of the world that are largely unvaccinated. The virus is still spreading rapidly in some countries and mutating as it does. It may be how we ended up with Omicron. Scientists in South Africa say it has at least 30 mutations, more than we've seen with other variants. Experts at Duke University say Southern Africa has become a super incubator for new strains of COVID because countries there are struggling to get enough vaccines. So far, the U.S. has contributed the most doses to the global vaccine effort, pledging to donate 1.1 billion doses. Still, experts say that may not be enough. Moderna is mobilizing hundreds of workers to start researching the Omicron variant of COVID. They say if needed, a reformulated version of their vaccine could be ready for rollout in early 2022. That's a quick turnaround because researchers are no longer working from scratch. This vaccine would just be a modified version of the one they already have, tweaked to combat Omicron's specific mutations. And it's still not a guarantee we need a special shot at all. Researchers are still trying to figure out how effective our current vaccine is against this new variant. They say it's highly likely the vaccine already offers at least some protection from Omicron.
Time, same place. We're so grateful you were here with us today. Be safe, y'all. Bye.